All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you're new. I have cat hair all over my hat. It's like all over. I don't know. This hat, it just it attracts all the cat hair. It's a little much. Just noticed that now. But welcome. Hope you guys are doing good today. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody ate a healthy, nutritious breakfast and or lunch. I sure did. I had a lunch of 3 donuts and some Sun Chips. That's how I maintain my physique. Yes, actually, I do. I need to... I thought I had a lint roller. Mrs. MBG says there is somewhere. There is... It is somewhere. My God, it just said that there is somewhere. Oh man, it's gonna be one of those days, guys. It's gonna be one of those days. I'm thinking this hat might be a little too tight. You know, squeezing my head a little too hard. But yes, I think there is a lint roller somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I was looking for it. Try to use it on the hat, but. Appreciate you guys being here. So, yes, today we're talking about the long-awaited, the mystical PlayStation Showcase. It's practically like a unicorn at this point. Is it even real? Will we ever see it? Pragmatic Hat says, I'm feeling good too, MBG. I've been running 100 kilometers every morning. I'm finally getting into shape. Good stuff, man. Yeah, I've been slacking. All right, thank you. Yeah, so actually, there is something I have to do first and foremost. Absolute priority right now. At the very end of yesterday's stream, actually, right after my stream from yesterday ended, I got a $50 super chat. First time that's ever happened where I got a super chat like that. After the stream ended, I think maybe the individual was maybe watching it on a bit of a delay, but I promised them I would absolutely read their super chat. So just really bad luck there. You know, apparently I think it was like their first time ever super chatting on the channel. They drop a $50 membership, not membership, a $50 super chat. And yeah, I wasn't able to read it. So not a bad thing though, because it'll be the first thing I read today for you guys. Okay. So this comes from VAR. That's the name that's listed here, just VAR. He says, hey, MBG, I've been watching you from the shadows for 8 years, just showing you upfront support. But I wish Black Myth had a mini-map for those who play the game drunk. I don't know where I'm going. Well, first off, VAR, thank you so much for that, man. Again, I very much apologize that I wasn't able to read your generous $50 super chat live during the stream. It came in like 1 minute after the stream ended, and I can't just start it back up at that point. So thank you for being patient. And thank you for watching the content. You're saying you've been watching the content from the shadows for 8 years? See, I believe you, because the channel just turned 8 years old. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I created this channel back in August of 2016, and I'll never forget the first video I uploaded. Unfortunately, I don't have that video anymore. I wish I would have saved it. But the first video was just me sitting at my kitchen table at the apartment I lived in at the time. And I just recorded myself basically saying, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and I want to do something with it. And I really want to make it happen. And I was talking about how I'm thinking about maybe leaning in the direction of gaming, maybe fitness. I'm not sure yet. And it's crazy to think that, like, you know, that's how long ago it was. Time flies. But yeah, man, I just want to give you a shout out for, you know, supporting a channel for such a long time. And I appreciate you dropping the super chat. You mentioned that you wish Black Myth WuKong had a mini map. Yeah, man, so I will talk a little bit about Black Myth WuKong. I'm trying to save it, because I'm going to be doing the next episode. I'm going to be recording the next episode of the Dual Sensibility podcast for all channel members. and I plan to talk with Brown Sugar about this game. But yeah, the lack of a mini map. When we were reading the reviews, this was like the major standout where it's like, there's no map at all. Kind of crazy. Very, I will say it's unique. It's different. I don't know that it's gotten in the way too much. It seems like the big problem with not having a mini map might be the fact that there are many hidden bosses, and it seems very much possible that a lot of people will go through the game and never even know that these other areas existed, and they would have no way of knowing unless they just go back and explore, or they search it, on the internet. Digital Dude 25 coming in saying, here's Johnny. You threw me off there for a moment, Digital Dude. What's your profile picture? What is that? You changed your profile picture. Thank you for that, actually. You're saying you've created one of the best communities on YouTube. Well done, my friend. I really appreciate that, dude. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Digital Dude's here to terrorize everybody. Listen, Digital Dude, you know my rule, bro. My rule for you is simple. If you're going to say some whack stuff that you're going to make me read, you got to drop some membership gifts. Oh. Digital Dude says, it's me, LOL. Oh, my bad. I thought it was a video game character. I can only see it, it's very small. Let me see I don't know. Is that really, is that you? That it looks stylized. That's not you. Is it? I don't know. It's supposed to be me. It looks AI generated, bro. Oh, sorry. AI me. My bad. I read that wrong. I'm sorry. You did. Yeah. I'm over here be like, that looks awfully AI generated. Meanwhile, your super chat literally says it's AI. Reading comprehension. Digital Dude 25 super chats again, screaming, it's me. It's me. We got Gavin House with the super chat saying, Guy, who do you do the podcast with? Is he someone who's been in chat previously, or is he an in real life acquaintance? Yeah, so he goes by the name Brown Sugar, and he's my real life best friend. We've been friends for many, many years. We go way back. So yeah, we know each other personally. He's been on the channel previously, not many times, but a few times. We've done some members content together. We actually did a couple of very early Press X podcast episodes together as well, like way back, like 4 years ago at this point, I think. So yeah, that's who the co-host of Dual Sensibility is. Actually, you're saying you like that there's no map? Games these days show you everything. You hit the radar function and it tells you where everything is. This rewards curiosity. Yeah, I mean, it's... I see it that way as well. It can be a little frustrating, but I see it that way. Digital Dude says, did you say brown shit? No, brown sugar. Brown sugar. Quite the opposite of shit. I'm glad you at least asked, though, because maybe some people were hearing it that way. I would hope not. Was he the best man at your wedding? Yes, he was. How'd you know, actually? You guys are getting some lore. Some MBG lore here. But yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude. I think he's been playing Black Myth WuKong as well, so we're going to talk about it. I feel like we both haven't gotten very far in the game, though. MBG, is it bad that Digital Foundry got me less excited for Black Myth WuKong? It looks so blurry on PS5 compared to PC. Hate low resolution games. No, I don't think it's a bad thing because, yeah, I watched most. I think actually I watched the whole thing. Actually, it was a long video. It was like 30 minutes long. I watched the whole Digital Foundry video. And listen, it's one of these situations where it's really good and like the game, and most people probably won't immediately notice the performance problems, but there are definitely some problems for sure. And Digital Dude 25 drops that membership gift. Digital Dude, really appreciate that, man. Appreciate you honoring the code. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please stare into the symbol. It's supposed to hypnotize you to convince you to drop a myriad of membership gifts and or super chats. So, but yeah, I did watch the Digital Foundry analysis of Black Myth WuKong on PS5, and there are absolutely issues. It doesn't seem like any of the issues are serious enough to make the game unplayable. But if you are somebody who cares very much about resolution, like you're saying, or frame rates, I mean, it seems to me that based off of what I was reading, it seems it's an Unreal Engine 5 thing once again. And it's becoming pretty clear, or I should say it is clear at this point, that Unreal Engine 5 is not as good of a game engine as we were led to believe. Unreal Engine 5 needs some work. According to some individuals, it needs a lot of work from Epic Games. It's just not delivering in the way that that we were told it would deliver, right? But yeah, I was playing it in the performance mode, and there are two big issues for me. They're not game breaking, and it's not like, oh, I'm not playing it or it's unplayable or anything like that. But the two issues are, number one, the resolution in the performance mode is not good. Yeah, I mean, if I told you yesterday when I was sitting far away from the living room TV, it was much more difficult to notice because I'm very far from it. But when I'm sitting closer to my other TV, it becomes very noticeable, and it's not sharp at all. It's rough. It's pretty rough. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the performance mode when that game launched. It looks almost the same. So there's that. But the second thing I noticed is there's a bit of input lag. Not a lot, but it's noticeable at times. And that, to me, has to be the biggest problem that I would like to see them fix, because, again, it's not severe by any means. And I don't want people to think that, oh, man, it has like this terrible latency or input lag but I can feel it. Dan, you're saying it's usually intentional. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do. I see somebody saying Concord is dying. What makes you say that? It didn't even officially release. I mean, outside of the early access. What? You're saying it's dying already? Uh-oh. Unknown says it was always DOA. Remar, member for 10 months, says, no more lifting, MBG. Why, bro? Yeah, I've been slacking. I'm not going to lie. I've been slacking. I could try to start bringing that back. I should bring that back, where when we hit 50 members at the end of the stream, I'll do a little bit of lifting. It's just because, I don't know, I've just basically taken a little bit of a break. Been very busy lately. I've had a lot just a lot on my plate, so it's been tough. I gotta get back in the groove, you know? And Digital Dude 25 says, all right, MBG, let's talk about that showcase. Yeah, we're going to dive into that. I'm not going to make you guys wait too long. I've been making that mistake the past couple streams, like not really getting into the meat of the conversation until like an hour and a half later. But we are going to talk about it. I just want to say before we dive into it, guys, you know the deal by this point, but if you're new here, just in case, a couple of ways you can support the channel directly. Number one, become a channel member. Number two, gift channel memberships if you're already a member. Number three, donate a super chat, ask a question, give an opinion, make a statement, say something crazy like some of you guys do. It all helps tremendously. And there's a direct donation link as well at the top of the chat where you can still leave a message just like a super chat, but 100% of what you donate goes directly to the content creator. Oh, wow, that was quick, Digital Dude. You actually changed your profile picture. Didn't see that one coming. You're saying, don't be sorry. Be better. Don't be sorry. Be better. Yeah. I always love that saying. You're right. I'll be better. What's up, Tarnished? I'm doing well, man. My son's doing well. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing good. MBG, what are your thoughts on Sony commissioning an episode of Concord to that secret level project? Well, that secret level show that's coming out, apparently there's going to be an entire episode dedicated to PlayStation IP, not just Concord. So we're going to see like Kratos, we're going to see, we're going to see Jin Sakai, we're going to see others. So that's pretty cool. Rich Rod 908 saying yeast butterscotch wangsta. Respect MB gangstas up. I love how he's condensing it now. I appreciate that. I actually very much appreciate you condensing it. It's not like a whole paragraph. It's not a book. I think it has more impact when it's condensed. Thank you for that, Rich Rod. Will we see Joel? I think there's a very good chance we'll see something related to The Last of Us, yeah. All right, but we are going to dive into this conversation, guys. I just have to bring something up on screen here. Or not on screen, sorry. On my end. Okay, we are good to go. All right, so Digital Dude, look at these guys. We're gonna get to like $100 or $200 worth of super chats just from Digital Dude and Rich Rod, just back and forth saying crazy shit. Digital Dude, I can't say that. I can't say. Now we got people fight. Oh man, this is chaos. Now we got people fighting with each other in super chats. I appreciate the super chats, but man, you guys gotta calm down. MBG, my word I will not say, says Digital Dude. Rooster Jackson says, why is Dick Rod being so rude? Well, actually, for a second, I thought I thought you were being rude for a moment there, Rooster Jackson. But technically his name is Dick Rod. That's actually you. That's what you call, somebody rich. You call him Dick. But we gotta ask Rich Rod how he feels about this, because it's like, if he doesn't want to be called Dick Rod, because that's pretty bad. Like, that sounds pretty bad. Like, just Dick Rod, Sim Particle comes in the chat screaming, almost certainly happening? Triple question mark. All right. PlayStation Showcase. Yes, you read the title right. A PlayStation Showcase is almost certainly happening very soon. I have a myriad of reasons why this is. Now, I want to make it clear right up front. I want to make it clear that we're not talking about rumors. We're not talking about leaks. If we were talking about a rumor about a PlayStation Showcase or some kind of leak or some kind of thing that an insider said, I would let you know. I would let you know in the title. I'd let you know in the thumbnail. I wouldn't, try to hide that. Today, this is just going to serve as a discussion. I'm going to point to different things that, to me, make it very clear Sony's going to do a PlayStation Showcase. But I do have to kind of, cover my ass here and make it known that nothing is guaranteed. Even though I personally believe it's going to be a showcase, it could be a state of play. It could be a state of play. It could be a different type of dedicated event just to the PS5 Pro that they don't call a showcase. I just feel like I have to make that clear. I believe it's going to be a PlayStation showcase. I believe that's what they're going to call it. But I have to say this stuff up front to cover my ass. Devil Shooter, member for 15 months. Always appreciate you, Devil Shooter. Saying Sir Speaks-a-Lot's Feet Pick Saga was better than the Rich Rod Saga. Oh, snap. That's so funny that you phrase it that way, though. It's a saga. It does feel like that, yeah. Man, I've been streaming for a long time. Now we have different sagas we refer to. Good stuff. Yeah, different arcs. Hey, Tarnished, you're asking, how can someone become a moderator? Basically, if you're here reliably, like, I won't say every single stream, but 80 to 90% of the time, and, you know, you've gotten along very well with the community, you've never been, like, rude or nasty to people, stuff like that, and, you know, you could be reliable in that way. This chat needs a nuke. No, Star Wars Outlaws did not come out yet. I don't think. Rich Rod, I don't think so, bro. You're a bit too volatile. You've made it clear that you have violent tendencies. Irfan, yeah, you could be in the running, dude. You're here every stream. You're here early too. Your favorite arc was the Blue Box Saga? Yeah. Actually says you can be a mod if you donate 1,000 right now, bud. Mod for a day. Mod for sale. All right. Guys, why do I think a PlayStation showcase is almost certainly happening very soon? Well, let me tell you. We got a couple of reasons lined up. Number one, the most important, the biggest elephant in the room. No games lined up after this year. No games for 2025. No games for 2026. No games for 2027. Nothing. Is Wolverine coming out in 2026? Is it coming out in 2025? Beats me. Did Sony say something? No, they didn't. Sony didn't say anything. What about Death Stranding 2? Okay, yeah, maybe Death Stranding 2 is coming in 2025. But have they been talking about it? Have they been shouting that from the rooftops? No, they have not. So outside of those two, we know nothing. There is nothing. However, there's one thing. I said there's nothing, but there's one thing. There is one thing. I take that back. There isn't nothing. There's one thing. The one thing is we know that PlayStation has been cooking for multiple years now. We have multiple PlayStation studios, some of the bigger studios as well, that have been MIA for 2, 3, 4 years at this point. Digital Dude 25 says, give me the job, MBG. I'll do it. We'll see, guys. I think we're good with mods for now. I'll have to go check. It's burning. Yeah, Irfan. Yeah, you got to wonder, is it starting to burn? I'll go check. I'll go kind of scroll through my mods if I can remember to do so after the stream. And if I need new mods, I'll think about it. I think we're good for now, though. I don't have too many, you know, don't need too many cooks in the kitchen, right? So to speak. Alex Mercer, the prototype, says, keeping my expectations low if it's confirmed. There's nothing wrong with that. See, I'm sitting here saying that I think a PlayStation showcase is almost certain at this point, but I'm not willing to say that it's going to be amazing, only because that's the part where I thought the last showcase was going to be amazing, and it was the opposite of amazing. It was very disappointing. It was a letdown. I do think it's highly unlikely that Sony could do 2 bad showcases in a row, especially spaced out so far apart. That would be damn near impressive. I would be impressed. Wow, Sony, you did 2 bad showcases, almost 2 years apart from one another. That's wow. Not sure how you pulled that one off. So I will say, even though if it is confirmed, I'm not going to have like my expectations go through the roof, I do believe that it would be significantly better in more ways than one than the last showcase, because the last showcase was not good. But if we think about the fact that Sony has, let's see, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Sony Bend, Blue Point Games, Housemarque. I will throw Guerrilla in there because of their multiplayer game. I mean, literally just off the top of my head, that's 7 studios. Oh, Santa Monica and their new IP. That's 7 studios. I mean, that alone, right? Like, I'm not saying they're going to be revealing that stuff. That they're going to be revealing Blue Point's game and Housemarque's game and Naughty Dog's game. No, most of those studios probably won't show up. But when you just consider the volume, right? When you think like 7, 8 separate studios that haven't said anything in multiple years, surely 1 or 2 of them have to be ready to reveal at the very least. And I think they are. I think they should be. It would be, frankly, pretty concerning if they weren't. But that's... Wow, that scared the shit out of me. That was way too loud. That's the number one reason why a showcase has to happen, man. Like, I don't even want to say it has to happen. It's like, it will, because, dude, Sony has to, at the very least, for the sake of the investors, like, the investors need to know, Sony, how are you planning on making your money next year? Or, in, you know, from going into 2025 and then beyond that, Sony's got to set this stuff up, man. It's not even just for the fan base at this point. Rich Rod with a direct donation says, Rooster and Yeast, you want the smoke? You sour butterscotch wanksters. MB Gangsters go hard in the paint. Run these MB Gangsta chats. Make me MBG mod. Rich Rod, I'm genuinely afraid to make you mod, bro, because I feel like after like a week, my chat's going to basically turn into, it's going to be a gang. I'm going to be a gang leader and not even know it. I don't think we need that. Paul says we are a gang. JMR77 says, I don't mind letting them cook at MBG. No, I don't mind either. It's necessary. It's necessary to let these studios cook because they're trying to create some of the biggest and best games in some cases. So it is going to take time for sure. And that's why, like, when I think about the fact that Sucker Punch, Sony Bend, Santa Monica Studio, when I think about these studios and the fact that they have been working on stuff for multiple years at this point, and they're some of the biggest and best studios in the world, I don't expect all of them to reveal their games at the same time. But I also don't expect Sony to save all of that for the next generation. It wouldn't make any sense. Some of these games are going to be finished by 2025, 2026, and 2027. And it's unlikely that Sony's going to be willing to just sit there with a finished game for 2 or 3 years and say, we'll just save it for the PlayStation 6. No way. They're not going to do that. Digital Dude 25 with a $5 chat saying, while we eat their food. Okay. Guys, are you trying to sabotage my channel? Digital Dude, I'm officially changing I'm altering your super chat. You're saying, while we don't eat their food, we plant seeds in their gardens, in their backyards, because we are good people. Holy hell. Digital Dude and Rich Rod basically duking it out to see who's going to get banned first. Who's getting banned first, bro? Digital Dude, I don't know, man. You're flying too close to the sun, bro. Digital Dude is flying too close to the sun right now. Be careful. Be careful. Hey, man, I will take your money. I appreciate your money, digital dude. But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. You don't run the show. If this is a gang, remember who the gang leader is. Oh man, dude, what are these pictures though? That's a weird looking picture. Oh. Wait, what? Hold on, what just happened? That's crazy. Wait, Devil Shooter, did you just delete a member gift? Wait. Hold on. I'm very confused right now. On my end, it said you removed it says message deleted by Devil Shooter, but it was a member gift. I'm so confused. I didn't even know that was possible. Digital dude, I appreciate the gift, man. You learn something new every day. JC was gifted. Oh, you timed him out for 10 seconds. Okay. That's so weird. Yeah, it didn't say that on my end. It didn't say you timed him out. It just, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a chat being confusing. It literally says message deleted. I'm like, wait, that wasn't even a message. That was a freaking membership gift. Anyway, digital dude, thank you for that, bro. In all seriousness, though, digital dude, Rich Rod, listen, guys, I very much appreciate the support. I do. And I don't want to discourage you, okay? But I am going to have to kindly ask, pump the brakes. All right? We're going to have to pump the brakes here. Cool it with how inappropriate you're making stuff, and cool it with the frequency that you need me to read some of these absolutely insane things that you're putting out here. I'm only saying this because there are a lot of people tuning in. They, they're tuning in thinking, oh, he's talking about the PlayStation Showcase. And I'm reading like the craziest shit out here. So just pump the brakes. That's all. Pump the brakes. I don't want you guys to get too out of hand. Rich Rod says, I'm discouraged. I don't even say bad things. No. Like, again. Well, Digital Dude's the one that's got to cool it with the with how far he's taking it. Digital Dude, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down, okay? Rich Rod, yeah, you're basically focused on the butterscotch stuff, and that's cool. That's like that's not bad. So just keep it non-aggressive, non-violent. Keep it light. Hold on, I'm getting a little behind here. We got Street Shadow. He says, I agree we need to see what PlayStation are cooking, but I absolutely don't want to be in an Xbox situation where they keep releasing roadmaps and not the games. Yeah, that's true. Xbox has had this problem for the past couple of years where like they're focused on putting on a big show and creating a spectacle, and sometimes they achieve that, but it's followed by we don't know when these games are coming out. It could be a year, could be 2 years, could be 3 years, could be longer than 3 years. And yeah, I also agree that would be less exciting, because knowing that these game development cycles are taking longer than they ever have, you do have to consider that they're considering that, right? That they're thinking, okay, well, is this game going to be ready in 4 years? No, 5? Maybe even 6. You do have to consider that stuff when you're going to reveal these games. I mean, we can look at like Wolverine and we're like, well, Wolverine was revealed strangely early. Wolverine was revealed in September of 2021, and we have yet to see another trailer since. But I think that's a little bit different because it's a licensing thing. It's a licensing thing where I think that Disney was and Marvel were like, we want you to put this out there. You know, like we want you to create the excitement. So I think that's where Sony maybe is like, oh, okay, yeah, we should do that. Digital Dude 25 says, why so serious, MBG? It's not about being serious necessarily. Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I do want to be serious, you know? I want to have the conversation about the games. I do. Hopefully you understand, Digital Dude. I think you understand. You're going to have to understand. Cypherpunk says, hypothetically, what would Sony think if, say, a game like Forza outsold GT on PlayStation? Or would they just be loving the free money? It's a great question. And I've thought about that. That's a tough one because, like, on one hand, Sony would maybe have to think to themselves, shit, we should make a game like this. But by the time they do that, if the reason why they thought that was because a game like Forza Horizon is selling so well, then they're automatically going into it with competition. But I don't know, maybe we could see like a hybrid between those two thoughts of like, if Forza Horizon were to release on PlayStation and it sold really, really well, maybe even outsold Gran Turismo, what I could see Sony doing is saying, you know what, maybe we should bring back something like MotorStorm. It's very different from Forza Horizon. It's its own thing, but it has that relative similarity of it's a fun arcade racing game. I could see them maybe doing something like that. Or maybe they would task Polyphony Digital with trying to make, I don't know, a direct Forza Horizon competitor. Yeah, I forgot about Drive Club. That studio shut down, I think. The Spine Rip, you're saying, I just want Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yeah, I think we all want that at this point, or most of us do. And that's a game that I have a strong feeling has to be close to being revealed. I don't know that I'm convinced Ghost of Tsushima 2 will be revealed this year, but I will say that is a studio we haven't heard from in a while. The PC version came out in May. I think the timing of that was intentional. If there is going to be a showcase in September, I will say that seeing Ghost of Tsushima 2 would be one of my predictions. I'm not saying like lock it in, guaranteed, but it's something that I think is very likely to show up. And I think it would be huge. Yeah, I think a Ghost of Tsushima 2 reveal would generate an immense amount of excitement for PlayStation. For sure. Absolutely. When it comes to the games that Sony's been working on for a long time, I do think that some of these studios that I listed are likely beginning, if not beginning, but maybe moved development over, or will be moving development over to the PlayStation 6. I said earlier that Sony's not going to save a game that's ready to release in like 2026 for the PlayStation 6. But if the timeline of a game is we need to have at least one tentpole title, at least one, ready to go by 2026. But it turns out that two of their big tentpole studios might be ready to go in 2026. Then maybe they are okay saying to the others, to one of those studios, whichever game would release later. See, I want to say this though too. Maybe I'm completely wrong in that thinking, because look back at the PS4. Sony did not mind releasing God of War 2018 and Spider-Man basically just months apart. I think God of War came out in like April, and then Spider-Man came out in September. And those are two massive heavy hitters. So you look at that, you also think about Ghost of Tsushima. Dude, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 released a month away from each other. So I don't know. I might be overcomplicating this, and what it really might just simply boil down to is Sony is just totally okay releasing these games when, like, just simply when they're ready to go. It doesn't even matter how close they are in proximity to one another. It just seems like maybe the only thing that's really changed is, like we said, how far in advance they want to announce these games. We have a Digital Dude again saying, if this is about competition, let us help our competition. Yes, that famous Satya Nadella quote. It's funny you say that, though, Digital Dude, because, yeah, the Satya Nadella quote originally was, if this is about competition, then let us have competition. Let us compete, you know, something along those lines. But in reality, what you're saying, that's actually what happened. If this is about competition, let us help our competition. That has to be one of the craziest things with this whole situation that we've seen. With just Microsoft CEO straight up saying, like, let us compete, damn it. The deal goes through. All right, we're going to help out Sony now so we can make money off them. Weird times, man. Weird times. See, there you go. There you go, Digital Dude. You can do it. You can do it. You can integrate. You can be part of the gaming conversation. I'm proud of you, Digital Dude. Let's see if we get Rich Rod to do it next. Rich Rod, I implore you with your next super chat to say something relevant about the PlayStation showcase or the current situation between Sony and Microsoft. We're going to do it, guys. We have Racket Raccoons member for 12 months saying, I really hope Ghost 2 is revealed sometime soon. I've been so hyped for what they could do for a sequel. It'd be an instant showcase winner. It would. Yeah. See, that's the power that some of these PlayStation studios have, where realistically Sony could show up at a PlayStation showcase where they're like, you know, here's the Pro, here's Death Stranding 2. Maybe they'll have something else, like maybe like the Venom game. I think that would be huge. But then it's like, oh yeah, here's one more thing, by the way. Here's Ghost of Tsushima 2. And it's like, yeah, dude, people are going to lose it. People are going to lose it. I think they have a lot that they could do. And I don't know, man. My whole thing with Ghost of Tsushima 2 and a potential PlayStation showcase is I just can't get over the fact that they waited to release Ghost of Tsushima on PC. And I think one of the reasons they waited is because they wanted to time it. You know, they wanted to put it out there a little bit before they reveal the sequel. Cypherpunk says, I have a feeling Ghost 2 will have two protagonists, male and female, kind of like AC. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. And Cypherpunk, I don't think you were the one that actually mentioned that, interestingly enough. But I think, yeah, people are looking at Assassin's Creed and they're maybe thinking, is this the direction that Sucker Punch could end up going in with their sequel? And it's a possibility. But I did say this yesterday. I'll say it one more time. I think that they should just stick with Jin. I mean, for story reasons, if it makes sense to do two protagonists, then cool, go for it. If not, if there's no reason to, and like it would make more sense to just stick with Jin, I think they should do that. But yeah, we'll have to see what they end up doing. We have King of Judah saying Sony needs hardware and software. Saying ally stronger. Well, that leads me to my second reason why I believe a PlayStation showcase is almost certainly happening very soon, and that is the PlayStation 5 Pro. And Digital Dude comes in and says, turn them into red mist. I mean, if you're saying that's what Sony's got to do, they got to come out here, they got to have a showcase so strong, they're like turning the competition into red mist. I mean, I will say, people have been kind of thinking about this idea. Well, it seems like Xbox kind of shot themselves in the foot again, maybe. I don't know. There's just them coming out on stage and announcing Indiana Jones coming to PS5. And then Phil Spencer basically saying like, yeah, we're going to start doing more of that. It seems like everybody's really, even the most loyal Xbox fans are starting to just come to terms with the fact that, okay, this is happening. Doesn't have to be a bad thing, but, I think people are coming to terms with it. It would be a hell of a time for Sony to come out swinging. They're not going to do it this month, but if it happens in the next 3 to 4 weeks, they come out swinging. They put on a big show. They get people excited. I mean, that's the thing, Digital Dude. Like you said, Microsoft is essentially helping the competition in pretty much a direct way, which is so weird to think. So Sony's got this like interesting, I don't know, there's like stuff starting to bubble under the surface a little bit, They got this momentum that's beginning to build up where, Concord's coming out, but right after Concord, Astrobot's coming out. I think Astrobot's clearly a fan favorite. We know the Pro is supposed to be coming. Everybody's hoping there's going to be a showcase. Everybody's waiting for more announcements. But in the here and now, we have games like Black Myth WuKong that PS5 players are really enjoying. And then we have Microsoft coming out basically being like, yeah, we're going to start putting more of our games on your platform. Paul Tassi did an article, The Console War is Over. It is. At least it seems like it is. Unless Nintendo decides after the Switch 2 they want to make like a more traditional home console again. I think it is, yeah. But I think people need to understand that the console war dying does not mean the console is irrelevant. It does mean there could be some negative ramifications for competition in the long run, but it doesn't mean the console's not relevant. And I think some people confuse that. They see what's going on with Microsoft and I guess they believe that, oh, well, I guess it's over. I'm not saying the console will be the most relevant thing in the future. I'm not saying that. But I just disagree with some of the takes that some people have where they kind of make it seem like, well, I guess this is it. It's all downhill from here. And it's like, well, not really. And I will say this too. Listen, man, to Microsoft's credit, and I'll give them this, they have every reason in the world right now to just come out and be like, guys, it's a wrap. We're not doing another console cycle. And I think people would actually understand. I think people would be like, oh man, that sucks, but kind of saw it coming. And they're not. To be fair, like Microsoft is not abandoning console hardware. And I think there's something to be said for that because you're talking about, again, a company that has lost the console war completely, but has still deemed it okay to keep making a console. I think that says something. I think that reveals something pretty important about the console space and the console industry. We have Waylark. Thank you for the super chat, buddy, saying Xbox will go the hybrid route with their next failed console. Just for the fact PlayStation games technically will be able to be played on them, LOL. Yeah, I think I read it. I don't know if he's here right now, but he left a comment recently on, I think it was yesterday's stream, New Soul 9. He said that he thinks that's exactly what Microsoft's going to do. So that way they can just run Steam and technically you can play PlayStation games through Steam. So you will technically be able to buy a box that has the word Xbox on it and the Xbox logo on it. You will be able to boot up Steam and you will be able to play games like Ghost of Tsushima and God of War on this box that has the Xbox logo on it. Yeah, again, when we talk about this kind of hybrid console, I just don't know how that's going to look. I think the risk Microsoft runs, of doing like a hybrid console is it's going to fail miraculously. Whereas if they did just try to stick with the regular console model with the next Xbox and just make it a very powerful, one single powerful Xbox console for like $400 or $500, and that's what it is, I think that has a decent chance to do okay. Not good, not great, but okay. Especially if it's just one SKU. But if they do this hybrid model where they're like, it's basically a PC, but we're not going to call it that, and it's going to have certain limitations that a PC doesn't have, but you're also going to be able to do some things that you can also do on PC, like download Steam and download certain programs. It's basically going to be running Windows Lite. I just think that has the potential to miraculously fail and flop. Like to a point where it's like, oh my God, like they can't even sell like 5 million consoles. I think it has that potential because we've seen that happen. We saw Steam do this, the Steam machines. Anybody remember that? And it failed miraculously. And I just get this feeling like, man, that's what Microsoft's about to do, aren't they? But I don't know. Maybe there's a chance it could work for the Xbox brand. You had one, Rudy? Nice. Steam machines didn't have Proton. Rami says, my guess is that Kojima's Fizzant is a PlayStation 6 game. Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that we need to highlight with Kojima Productions and Fizzant is that when they announced it, Kojima and Herman Hulst together, they did say that production on Fizzant will begin earnestly once they ship Death Stranding 2. So, oh, you guys need me to slow the chat? Okay, hold on. So when you think about it, Death Stranding 2... Hold on. Yeah. Death Stranding 2 probably isn't going to release until late 2025. So at the absolute earliest, late 2025 is when Fizzant will go into pre-production. So yeah, it's 100% a PlayStation 6 game. I mean, you're talking about a game that's probably not going to be ready until the year 2030, 2031. It's crazy to think, but that's the reality of it. I mean, unless Kojima does something crazy and uses some kind of special Mark Cerny technology to be able to make a game like a massive AAA game in like 3 years or something. I don't know. Mark Cerny's secret sauce. Racket Raccoon says, I think Spider-Man 2 DLC is more likely personally. Yeah, I will say we've had a weird silence from Insomniac when it comes to the Spider-Man 2 DLC, and some people were speculating that maybe what they decided to do is take all the different DLC that they were going to do and wrap it into like one standalone expansion or something. I don't necessarily know that it would be that simple, but it has been a strangely quiet year from Insomniac. I mean, outside of the hack that occurred and the leaks, but yeah, Insomniac hasn't said anything about DLC, and they're taking seemingly a completely different approach compared to the approach they took with Spider-Man 2018, where they had all of the DLC like listed like as soon as the game launched. You could even buy a season pass or something, or buy it all ahead of time. As of right now, it's been radio silence. And we also have heard that there's going to be a standalone Venom game. So maybe what they decided to do is package that DLC that was supposed to release for Spider-Man 2 into this Venom game and make it even bigger. And like just have more content for it, you know? That would be an interesting way for them to go about it. So we'll see if you're right, though, Racket. And Cypherpunk says it's going to be a Sony monopoly, and we are here for it. And we here for it. I mean, it does kind of feel like that's where it's going to go. Yeah. It kind of feels like Sony is going to be back in the same position they were right before Microsoft entered the console space. I did talk about this yesterday as well, but it's certainly worth bringing up again. The PS2 was so dominant. Sony had everything in the bag, you know? They had the entire market in the bag. And then that's when Microsoft stepped in and are like, we're gonna try to compete now. Now Microsoft is stepping out. Nintendo's still there. It seems like the only hope we really have for relatively serious competition in the home console space directed towards PlayStation next generation, starting next generation, will be with the Switch 2. And the only way that happens is if the Switch 2 gets incredibly strong, unexpected third-party support. And that could be enough, but there are too many unknowns right now. We really don't know what the third-party support for the Switch 2 is going to look like. We don't know. Well, we do know that GTA 6 is not going to be on the Switch 2, apparently. So that's a big one. But we don't know what the future of these big AAA games that are coming out in 2026, 27, 28, 29, and beyond. We don't know if they're actually going to be targeting the Switch 2 or not. So I don't know, man. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all unfolds. It's definitely an appropriate time to speculate. It's an appropriate time to try to think about, man, what is going to happen over the next year or 2 or 3 years? What about next generation? This is the appropriate time because there's the most amount of questions that are not yet answered. But I think it's also safe to say that some things are going to play out in unexpected ways. And we should keep that in mind. You know, whatever we think right now, like, oh, this is clearly where it's going to go. Who knows, man? Maybe by the next generation, as crazy as it sounds, there's going to be some other company that sees Microsoft basically bowed out. And they're going to be like, now it's our time to rise, bro. Now we're going to make a home console and compete with the PS5. That I'm not saying that's likely, but you never know. Digital Dude 25 says, I truly believe that some of these Xbox like Xbox/Phil so much that they would let Phil do something that you would hope no man would allow. If you really need to know what Digital Dude said in that last part, I'm sure you can infer, or you can just read the chat. Digital Dude seems to have some kind of fixation here. But I will say this, man. It has been strange to see some of the defense for Phil Spencer recently. I'm not saying people should be like losing their shit on Phil Spencer, because I mean that just seems a little bit unnecessary. I mean I've lost my shit before, but the defense I've seen doesn't seem to add up, because it's like, guys, why do you feel the need to defend an executive who's being paid very handsomely? Money is not an issue for Phil Spencer. Why? Do you think he's going to share that money with you? Do you think he's going to respond to you? Do you think he's going to email you and ask what he can do to make everything better? No. There's no you don't have to go nuts and ballistic and be a dick towards Phil Spencer, but you don't need to defend him either. He'll be fine. He made his bed and he's ready to sleep in it. He's been making his bed over at Microsoft for the last 35 years. The best Phil Spencer can hope for when he eventually retires, the best Phil Spencer can hope for is maybe his legacy will be, oh yeah, that's the Game Pass guy, which isn't too bad. If Game Pass ultimately does succeed, that's not too bad. And that's better than Don Matrick. You know, that's better than leaving with that type of legacy. Digital dude, I think you're projecting a little bit, bro. Digital dude says, earnestly, I wouldn't let Phil sleep with my wife. I'll tell you that much. Well, I'm very happy to hear that, digital dude. I'm very happy to hear that. You got me on that one. You got me on that one, digital dude. The only executive that deserves defending is Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny isn't even an executive, dude. That's the You know what's so crazy about Mark Cerny at Sony is he technically isn't even an employee of Sony. Mark Cerny has this really interesting kind of like he gets special treatment. Like he legitimately gets special treatment at Sony where he doesn't have to, he's not an actual employee, but he gains access to, like, he's able to just kind of flow anywhere he wants to go. Yeah, look it up, man. Mark Cerny produces on a lot of games, by the way. Mark Cerny was a producer on Spider-Man 2. I think he's been a producer on previous big PlayStation games. He's definitely an integral part of the PlayStation brand. And he does seem to be kind of like, I don't want to say he's the unsung hero, because I think a lot of people are aware of who he is, and they, you know, I mean, come on, we got like a whole religion based around Mark Cerny at this point. But I just think some people underestimate like how significant his impact at PlayStation as a whole has actually been. Like the day Mark Cerny retires, good luck to Sony, man. I don't know who you're going to get to replace him. He's got some big shoes to fill. PlayStation 6 will be Mark Cerny's swan song. Yeah, it's interesting to think that could be the last PlayStation console ever developed. Maybe the PlayStation 6 Pro. Is he the most important man at Sony? I would say so. He might be. Yeah, he looks great for his age too, man. I think he's like 60 now or something. I think he just turned 60. Kind of crazy, man. Cypherpunk says, Nintendo doesn't care about third-party games the same way. People buy Nintendo basically only for their games. I agree with you. Nintendo doesn't seem to place nearly as large of an emphasis on third-party developers or third-party games as Sony does. However, something I've noticed with the Switch 2 is I'm already starting to see more conversation about or surrounding third-party publishers who are already planning to port games to the Switch 2. And this is where I think Nintendo knows that if they can just sell the Switch 2 the same way that they sold the Switch 1, and if they can focus on their first-party software to sell it, but this hardware also happens to be more capable, more competent, not cutting edge, far from cutting edge, but just a huge step up compared to what was in the Switch, naturally, big third-party publishers will follow because they're going to want to make the money as well. Again, even Sony is trying to get a bit of that Switch money now with a game like Horizon Lego Adventures. So, I mean, in a way, I guess that would also maybe indicate that Sony doesn't see Nintendo as much of a threat in this space. Otherwise, they maybe wouldn't even consider doing something like that. But we could see a situation where it's not necessarily, I mean, I guess you could call it a Sony monopoly if you want to call it that, but it'll basically just be a situation where I think people are like, I got my PlayStation console, I got my Switch 2, and I got my gaming PC. Like, if you want to have access to literally everything at all times, that's that's going to be the setup. Gaming PC, Switch 2, PlayStation 5/6. And I don't know. I don't see Sony going crazy. You know, when we talk about a Sony monopoly, there's like this fear of like, oh, Sony's not going to do anything anymore, or they're not going to care anymore. It's like, well, they could become a little bit more anti-consumer, certainly, but the mistake that Sony could make is they end up making PC seem way more appealing than their own console. Some people already view the PC as way more appealing than the PlayStation console. A lot of people already view it that way. The last thing Sony wants to risk is turning off actual console players, you know? And then like kind of pushing them in the direction of PC. Although, if Sony does do their own launcher one day, maybe they won't care. That'll be the day, man. If Sony releases their own launcher on PC, that's when everything changes. Everything changes after that, because my PC that I have right now is more powerful than my PS5. And if Sony were to release a launcher where it's, you boot that up, your PC is literally now a PlayStation. It's a PlayStation. Like everything that is available on the PS5 console, even the layout, the way the UI is, it's all there in that launcher. The day Sony does that, if they do, everything changes. And apparently, yeah, we saw job descriptions that said they were working on that. I think console will still have its place, to be clear. It will still have its place. Yeah, well, there you go, Shadowlink. That's another question too. Like, what about the optimization side, right? Yeah. Well, I guess the assumption is that if Sony were to do a dedicated launcher on PC, the assumption is that, well, they're going to launch all their games day and date. Sony might not have the capacity to do that. I think people forget that. It might not be an easy undertaking for them. Most of their studios are used to just making games for console. They have a dedicated studio that works on PC ports. Some of the studios are trying to get more familiar with PC, but it takes time and manpower. Cypherpunk says, people got an unhealthy obsession with Phil, LOL. Yeah, I think that, well, I've noticed Phil seems to be more quiet these days. He doesn't seem to be talking as much. Doesn't seem to be interacting with the fans as much, and I think that's for good reason. We've seen the end result of Phil Spencer basically hyping up the fans and, you know, trying to bring the Xbox executives down to the same level as the fans. Like, yeah, like we're here with you too, guys. And I think we've seen the result of that. Like when things go wrong, when things go bad, it turns out, okay, we're not with you. We're with Microsoft. Yeah, sorry. And I think the fans that really latched on the hardest, I think they kind of found that out the hard way. Saying it takes $1,000 to $1,500 to get the equivalent of a $499 PS5 if you get the right parts. Doesn't seem too economical to me, in my opinion. Yeah, that's another aspect as well, is if you want to get the exact same performance. I mean, even Mark Cerny called that out in his last interview, where he was like, you know, he called out that one video that Linus Tech Tips made, trying to build a $500 PC that's equivalent to PS5. And he was saying that they had to buy like used parts or whatever. And he's like, if you're willing to do that, you may as well just buy a used PS5. You can get it for like $3 something. And I'm like, yeah, that's a That's a good point. You know, that definitely holds water. Cerny cooks Linus. Waylark, you're saying what third-party dev wouldn't want a game on Nintendo? It's 100 million plus player base. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm saying it's going to be so fascinating to see. Like, I know we may be strayed away from talking about the PlayStation Showcase, but you know, we think about the PS5 Pro and how I said that's the second main reason I think it's almost certainly going to happen, the showcase. We think about that. We think about how much more powerful that Pro console is going to be compared to the base PS5, but then we have the Switch 2, which is looming, and we know it's not going to be as powerful as a PS5. It's going to be nowhere near as powerful as a PS5 Pro, but I think it's safe to say that, you know, third-party publishers are rubbing their hands together. Certainly. There's a lot of money to potentially be made porting your game to Switch 2. And knowing that it's more of a possibility now, it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. Digital Dude 25 says Phil Spencer versus Jared from Subway. Battle of the Court Cases. Yikes. Yeah, I'm gonna say Phil Spencer is Phil Spencer's cool, bro. All right. If you're making that type of comparison, Phil Spencer's cool. What a crazy twist for Subway, right? Right? Like, what the F, man? World's a crazy place. Alex Mercer says, Jesus. Jesus indeed. And no, I'm not using the Lord's name in vain. I'm saying, Jesus, help these poor souls. Help that poor soul. World's a crazy place, man. Saying what happened with Subway, do some research, man. We're not talking about that here. No, that's crossing lines, and I'm not. But if you're interested, just go look it up. Be careful, though, because it might ruin your day. And Cypherpunk, I appreciate all the super chats, guys. Cypherpunk says, gaming is my hobby, so I don't mind putting money into a high-end gaming rig, but it's not optimal for most people. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, it is like really nice to know that if I do ever decide to play games on PC for any reason, I have a very capable gaming PC, and it's just nice. It's nice to know that, but I know that not everybody can afford that. You know, not everybody can afford these higher end rigs, especially specifically for gaming. It can be quite expensive, but a lot of people are very passionate about gaming, and if your passion goes that deep, then it's likely something you're willing to save up for, and at least try to invest into. But the pricing of not even the PlayStation 5 Pro, but the PlayStation 6 is what's going to be really interesting. That's going to be really interesting. Pragmatic Cat, a member for 30 months. Thank you for that long-time support, buddy. You're saying Microsoft should just buy Dell/Alienware. And how do you say that? I don't know how to say that brand name. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to attempt it. But you're saying they should buy these gaming PC companies. There's actually a market there. They're a PC company after all. Also, buy GTA and Cyberpunk and become a publisher. They don't need, dude, they don't need. It's Zydax. Is that how you say it? Zydax? Okay. I was leaning in that direction, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to say something really stupid. I never heard of them. Well, here's the thing, Pragmatic Cat. Microsoft doesn't need to buy GTA or Cyberpunk to become a publisher. They're already one of the biggest publishers in the world. I mean, if they could get away with that, they probably would. But they don't need much more, man, if anything at all. They're already one of the biggest publishers in the world. And if they do decide to buy any more, I can tell you this, if Microsoft does buy any more studios or any more publishers, they may as well hold a sign up that says we are full multi-platform. They, Activision Blizzard is already forcing them to go multi-platform. But yeah, if they add any more on, it's like, yeah, okay. It's over now. Completely over. There's just no hiding it. We also have Alex Mercer, the prototype, says, one true Subway mascot for me is Nathan Drake. Yeah, that I remember seeing some of those ads. That's so funny. I actually completely forgot that was a thing and that existed until you mentioned it. Oh, man. Antonio Lopes with a super chat says, how many first-party games from first-party studios, Death Stranding counts, are you expecting to come in 2025? How many would make you happy? It's a great question, Antonio. How many am I expecting for 2025? I would say minimum, realistically, 4. And I'll tell you where that comes from. So, I do think there will be at least one tentpole title. The big AAA single-player game. And that is going to be Death Stranding. However, I think there is a very good chance that Sony will have a second tentpole title ready to go before the end of 2025. I don't know that I feel confident in trying to guess which game this will be. Will it be Wolverine? Will it be Ghost of Tsushima 2? It could be something a step down from that. It could be Venom, which is not going to be as big of a tentpole title, but certainly Venom would be huge, even if it's a smaller scope game for $50. So I think there will be a second tentpole title / if we don't call something like Venom a tentpole title, what do we call it? I'm not sure what to call it. Because it's something that would be big and have a lot of impact, but it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be full-blown. Should we just call it a tentpole? A beanpole. Tentpole light. There you go. Tentpole light. But I said 4 games. Well, here's something I can tell you guaranteed. There is some type of remaster / remake that Sony will have lined up. I don't know. I have no idea what it'll be. I don't know who it's going to come from, but I can tell you it's coming for 2025. And then there's also going to be at least one live service game. Probably Fair Games. So, essentially, if I'm being realistic about Sony's actual first-party output for next year, for 2025, throughout those 12 months, I'm expecting one remake / remaster, one live service game, Fair Games, and 2 tentpole titles, one being Death Stranding 2 for sure, the other oscillating between something like Venom or maybe even Wolverine. If they're able to, Insomniac is very good at what they do. Wolverine could in fact be ready for 2025. So, and then you're asking me how many would make me happy. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. Obviously, I would like there to be a little bit more than that. It might be asking for too much. Yeah, there is the Horizon live service game as well. Maybe we could get 2 live service games. I mean, we did this year. We got Helldivers 2 and Concord. That's 2 live service games. How many would make me happy? I would say if those 4 games appeal to me, I'm happy. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest, man. I don't know if Fair Games is going to appeal to me. I have a bad feeling about Fair Games, so I'm not going to write it off yet. I'll wait to see gameplay. It could be fun, but that one's very much 50-50 for me. Oh, you know what? There you go. I knew I was forgetting something. Marathon. Yeah, so I don't know. We could be looking at 1 remake and / remaster, 2 live service, Fair Games, Marathon, and maybe even 2 tentpole titles. That'd be pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That'd be pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. As long as all the games turn out to be quality and well made. In terms of the remake / remaster, it's hard to say. It could be something I'm interested in. It could be something I have no interest in. But I'm being very realistic about, and we're not talking about announcements, to be clear. To be 100% clear, we're not talking about Sony doing a show and what they're going to announce. Is Sony going to do a show in 2025? I would hope so. Will there be stated plays in 2025? 100% yes, there will be. But yeah, but I do think that Sony's going to have quite a bit more than we are aware of right now. They have to, because they did. I want to say this as well. This is another reason, by the way. PlayStation Showcase is almost certainly happening very soon. MBG, what makes you say that? Sony told their investors, they explicitly told their investors they expect to make much more money from first-party games in fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 2025 begins April 1st, 2025, and ends April 1st, 2026. So for at least 3 quarters of 2025, Sony's expecting to make significantly more first-party money. How do you do that? You release first-party games. So that's another reason there has to be a showcase at some point soon, because Sony needs to announce these first-party games or give us dates for these first-party games. That's literally a necessary thing they have to do. If Sony goes this year, or if you're saying if Sony goes this year without a showcase, or wait, let me read this again. If Sony goes huge this year with a showcase, I don't think there's going to be another showcase in 2025. Yeah, I don't know, man. Sony could just do a big pop. I kind of am in agreement here. If Sony does do a big showcase this year, let's say they do it next month, it's massive, I mean, it's just like an hour and a half of just greatness, right? Dreams are coming true. I could see that being the last showcase of the generation. I'm not even kidding. I could see them basically just riding stated plays, giving small updates, giving release dates all the way through to 2027. To where, like, basically what I'm describing is kind of William Aguilar. I don't think he's here right now, but he was talking about this in the chat. He was saying that he thinks basically what Sony's going to do with their next showcase is the Future of Gaming Part 2. So if you look back at 2020, specifically June of 2020, I know that's a time not a lot of people want to look back on, but that is when Sony held the first ever PS5 event, and they called it the Future of Gaming. And essentially what they did was they set up the first 3 to 3.5 years of the PS5. They did do a showcase the following year in 2021, but that showcase was nowhere near as big as the Future of Gaming. And it kind of felt like every event that Sony did after that Future of Gaming event, they did 2 showcases. They did the Future of Gaming event in June, and then in September, they did a second PlayStation Showcase. That's where they announced God of War Ragnarok for the first time, and a few other games. So they like basically laid out the first 3.5 years. Every event that came after that felt kind of like DLC, like DLC to the event. Where it's like it's not as big or significant as the event, but you're getting more updates. You're getting a few smaller game announcements. You're getting some remake and remaster announcements, or you're getting updates on games that were already announced. You know, this makes me think this is how Sony could handle the second half of this generation, where realistically this generation is going to last until, or well, I mean, the PS5 is going to last for many, many years beyond the PlayStation 6 release, but the PlayStation 6 is going to be coming out very likely late 2027 or sometime in 2028. What I do know for sure is 2027 will be the year when we start to hear about the PlayStation 6. Like, it'll start to be in the rumor mill. You know, people will start getting excited for it. Like, what's the PS6 going to be? And it'll be very much part of the conversation. And so if you think about it, we're not too far from that. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but we're approaching the end of 2024. Before we know it, it's going to be 2025. So 2025, 2026, 2027, about 3 more years. About 3 solid years left of the PS5 and the PS5 Pro before the PS6 starts to make its way in. And so I have no doubt in my mind that right now Sony absolutely has a plan of, in fact, this is probably what they've been working on since Jim Ryan retired. Once Jim Ryan announced his retirement, Herman Hulst started working on a roadmap for, all right, what is the last 3 to 3.5 years, or the last 4 years of the PS5 going to look like? What games are going to be ready to go? Which studios are going to be ready to go? They're going to be very strategic about it. So Sony already knows what they have planned for 2026. They already know what they have planned for 2027. To be honest, Sony already had that worked out probably a year ago. Truthfully, probably close to a year ago. They probably already mapped that out that long ago. What Sony's probably in the process of mapping out now and really trying to hone in on is what their PlayStation 6 roadmap is going to look like. I think people forget that when we look at the second half of the PS4 generation, for as amazing as it was, you better believe Sony that entire time, when they're doing E3 2016, 17, 18, that entire time, they're currently planning for the PS5. So everything we saw over the last 4 years for the PS5 was being planned back in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. So that exact same logic applies right now, where everything that we're going to see with the PlayStation 6 in like 2027 and 2028 is currently being planned. So in other words, Sony already has the remainder of this generation mapped out. It's just simply a matter of how they want to go about revealing it, how they want to go about announcing it, and how they want to go about communicating it. Guys, listen, we have 2 members on the day. Nowhere near the 25 goal. I'm not going to press you. You guys have been doing great this week. A lot of memberships gifted. But I will simply say that the beast has awoken. And we all know what that means. So if we can get to 25 members, guys, we will feed the beast. It's okay if we don't, but I saw you guys in the chat mentioning he was waking up. Yeah. Oh yeah, and hit that like button, by the way. We have over 400 people here hanging out. Appreciate you guys chilling with me, listening in. Hit that like button to help the stream. We're almost at 200 likes. Helps more than you know. 2025 is going to be nuts. I'm expecting a first look of their games from Housemarque and Bluepoint. I do wonder when we're going to see Housemarque and Bluepoint reveal their next games. Bluepoint, I feel like, has to be soon. And Jake Skew 28 answers the call. Jake Skew comes in and drops a single membership gift for you guys. W's in the chat for Jake. Very much appreciated, man. We're actually at 3 members. Let me update this so it's an accurate reflection of where we are. And Mrs. MBG comes in and drops a membership gift. Mrs. MBG giving back. I think Mrs. MBG wants to feed the beast. So that brings us up to 4. Oh, wait, Digital Dude 25 coming in. Really trying. Wait, Digital Dude, is that really your profile picture now, though? Or is it another AI? He comes in, he drops the 5 bomb on you guys. Digital Dude coming in, making it a full-blown member train right now, guys. Let me see where we're at. We're not at 36. That's temporary. And Mrs. MBG re-ups her membership. She almost forgot. How could you, Mrs. MBG? No, good stuff. Good stuff. So that brings us up to 10 on the day, man. This is the time, guys. If you want to keep the member train going, now is the time to do it because we just shot up from 2 members to 10. Still a little ways away from 25, but we can do it. Boss is counting on you guys. I do want to say, though, people receiving, we have a lot of new members from the gifts that we got this past week, and some people were just gifted memberships now. Just a reminder, the Dual Sensibility podcast, I'm going to keep shouting this out because I think there are still people who are just not aware. Right now, it's a members exclusive podcast. New episode should go up every Saturday. There's 2 episodes out right now. So if you just received the membership gift, go check that out. They're proper podcasts. They're not like the live streams. It's a very different type of content, I think, from what I normally put out here. And the next episode, I'm going to be working on it with Brown Sugar. I'm going to be recording it and working on it probably tomorrow and Saturday. And I hope to have the 3rd episode out on Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoyed that content. I put a lot of effort into it, trying to really provide the best value I can for those of you who support the channel, whether you're, gifting memberships or paying for a membership month over month. This is MBG. MB Gangsta looks younger with the cap you gave him. Everybody pointed to that, I guess. She said that too. I didn't believe her. I got to be honest. She was telling me, like, you wear that hat, you're going to look younger. I'm not trying to look younger. I mean, I don't mind looking younger, it's better than looking older, I guess. I don't know. But then I saw people were saying that and I was like, oh, she was right. PlayStation Pete with a $2 super chat saying, going to play WuKong at a friend's house. Yeah, give it a try, man. I'm still trying to get adjusted to Black Myth WuKong. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm going to talk about it on the upcoming podcast, but the challenge it poses is interesting. It's like different. It has a different type of difficulty, I've noticed, where it feels fair, I will say. So far, I've died a couple of times, and on the podcast, I'll probably have some footage of me playing, and you'll see that I've died, but I never felt like it was BS or anything like that anytime I died in that game. It felt fair. It felt like it was a mistake on my end or, just not dodging well enough, not timing well enough. But yeah, what I've noticed about Black Myth WuKong is it is one of those games where once it clicks, Once you really get into the groove of a certain boss battle and boss fight, and you figure out their moveset, once you get into that flow in Black Myth WuKong, it's very satisfying. Is it Souls-like? It feels tough, man. It's like 50% Souls-like, 50% not. like the basic flow of I'm at a shrine and then I'm gonna go fight this boss that's just like very close by, and then I die at that boss and I respawn at the shrine and then I run back to that boss, rinse and repeat till I defeat that boss. But you don't really like lose anything if you die. And the combat is very action oriented. Like the combat feels practically like it's not like a button mashing or like a beat 'em up, but you are doing certainly much more button mashing than you would in a Souls game. But you do have to time everything. I would say it does feel most similar to something like Bloodborne in terms of the amount of dodging and the timing and the amount of, when you have an opening, the amount of button mashing you're going to do to get as many hits in as you can. But the transformations are really cool. The transformations, I think, are what make this game kind of special, where you're able to like transform into these other creatures and do all these different moves. So far, I've only unlocked one. Or no, I've unlocked like 4 actually. And it's fun. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Boss is just staring at me. He's like, so treats? Almost, boss. I believe in them. I think they'll pull through for you. Give them some time. Give them some time. Devil Shear saying the input lag you mentioned turns me off from the game. It's not like severe, but it's there. Yeah, you can feel it. And I will say that is the only thing that has posed any type of issue on occasion, where it does seem like I can't tell if it's either the input lag or like if I hit square like 2 or 3 times to use just the basic light staff attack, it feels like sometimes it locks me into the animation and I'm like desperately trying to roll away because I'm like, oh no, I messed up. So I really can't tell if that's like intentional or not, where it's like, yeah, we're going to punish you for hitting square 3 times when you probably only should have hit it once and then dodged. I've noticed that happening quite a bit to me. Saying Digital Foundry talked about that too. The lag. But it's good, man. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's not perfect. Whoa. Holy shit. Did you guys just see that? Boss, are you alright? Are you good? I don't know if that picked up on camera. Did you see that? He just tried to jump up and failed. He's just staring at me like, yeah, so. See how desperate he is, guys? See how desperate he is for the treats? Pushing Polygons, a member for 16 months. Appreciate it, bud. Oh, the camera shook. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't notice that. MBG, let's talk about GT8 for a minute. Supposedly GT6 was so big that they had to cut back on GT7. Do you think a late PS5 game or a near launch PS6 game? Great question. And actually, yeah, GT8 I could see that as a cross-gen game, maybe. I could, yeah. Or, I don't know, man, maybe Sony could just say, it's unlikely they would do this, but they could say, let's just make it PlayStation 6 only so we can really show off what this console can do, right? Let's not forget that GT7 was supposed to be PS5 only. GT7 was supposed to be a true PS5 exclusive, but at the last minute, and it was so awkward watching them do this, but they were like, oh, actually, no, we're releasing it on PS4. And it was very obvious they did that because of the console shortage, because of the supply issue. And, it does make you wonder what GT7 could achieve graphically if it didn't have to be cross-gen. But it still looks really great. But something tells me that if GT8 is being planned right now, they might try to I don't know. They might try to go all in with making it a PlayStation 6 exclusive this time, like they tried to with the PS5, assuming there will be no console shortage once again and supply issue. If there isn't a supply chain issue, I could see them going all in and making it a true PlayStation 6 exclusive, because I mean, GT is one of those games that I think is absolutely a console seller for sure. Or I could be wrong. Maybe they'll go the opposite direction. GTA could be a cross-gen between PlayStation 6, PS5, and maybe even release on PC. So I think that that's one of those games, though, pushing polygons, that whenever Sony is ready to reveal it and announce it, and whenever they're ready to show it off and announce platforms, it'll let us know very clearly what Sony's plan is going forward. Because I do think it will more than likely be a PlayStation 6 game, no matter what. Could it be a late PS5 game? I'm going to say probably not. No. I think they're going to need more time. Yeah, that I say that, but I see somebody in the chat saying they think we might even see it as a PS5 Pro demo. Yeah, I'm going to be completely wrong. It's going to be revealed at the upcoming PlayStation Showcase, and it's going to be like the showpiece for the PS5 Pro. No, I don't think so, man. I'd be shocked. I don't even think that would make sense. I'd be like, what? Wait, didn't GT7 just come out? I think GT7 still, yeah, I think it's doing pretty well still. I mean, they're treating it like it is a live service game, you know? Chris Brown, you're saying, bought a new Xbox Series S/PC Rockband guitar. Worth it. I miss Rockband so much, man. And Guitar Hero. I love those games. I played a lot of Rock Band 4. I actually played that on Xbox. Played the drums mostly. I played everything. I didn't sing that much though. Never really in the singing, which felt awkward for me. I don't really consider myself a singer, but I miss the Rock Band games. Do you think they're going to make a Rock Band 5? I think Bobby Kotick, it was either Bobby Kotick or Phil Spencer, one of them hinted at Guitar Hero returning during the Activision Blizzard trial or whatever. They like straight up said like, yeah, we're bringing it back or whatever. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. Which one was better, Rock Band or Guitar Hero? Curious. Which one was better to you guys? Was it Phil Spencer who said it? Yeah, I remember hearing it last year where they were talking about Guitar Hero returning. I remember Guitar Hero 3. I specifically remember being so hyped for Guitar Hero 3 because Slash was on the cover. And for those who don't know, but I think most of you do know, I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan. Guns N' Roses was like my favorite band growing up, and I was like obsessed with them. And I always loved Slash, and I was like, damn, he's on the cover. You're saying there's a guitar now. My son has it for PS5. I saw that, Steven. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was like a new, I think it was the same company too that makes all the peripherals for Rock Band. They made a new guitar, and I think it was for Fortnite specifically. Yeah, really interesting to see what Fortnite's doing there with like I think they call it Fortnite Festival. Shadow Link, that'll be the day. That'll be the day. Harmonics. There you go. Yeah. Guitar Hero 3 had Tool tracks, which were awesome. Wait. No way. No. Did they? What? No, I don't think that's true. I have to look this up now. Chase, I think it had to be Rockband. You're going to have to go back to Guitar Hero World Tour. I just busted out sometimes to play their songs. Oh, shit. Is that where you... Really? Guitar Hero was only able to get Tool by agreeing to make a custom venue every time their songs are played. That's not going to happen in Rock Band. What? That's crazy. Wait, how come I didn't know about this? Was it DLC? Because I played Guitar Hero World Tour, but then again, back then, I don't know if I was as into Tool. No, wait. I think I was. That's crazy. Steven, you're saying it's not just for Fortnite. I think, yeah, I saw a video when it first released. I watched it for like a minute or two of somebody reviewing it. And I think you can use it with like any of the other Rock Band games that are playable on these consoles. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've always loved Rock Band and Guitar Hero, and incredible games, man. Incredible games. Bro, actually coming out of nowhere. Holy crap. I just read Concord has been in development for 8 years. LOL. Shaking my head. I saw that, yeah. I'm not going to lie, man. Like, I almost feel a little bit sorry. Just a little bit. I can't imagine, like, dedicating 8 years to the development of a game to just see it come out to... It's getting just torn to shreds, man. But I don't know. This is where that's why I question, you know, what went wrong, man? To me, the biggest problem with Concord, you're talking about, especially hearing that it was in development for 8 years. How many people along the way just said yes? Is this good? Yes. Is this a good idea? Yes. You think this will do well? Yes. That's what's crazy to me. Especially hearing 8 years of that, dude. 8 years. I will say it does explain a lot, though. It does explain a lot about the overall direction that this game, I guess, went in, being a hero shooter. If they started development 8 years ago, a lot has changed. A lot has changed over the last 8 years. So it seems like maybe it's a potent combination of being way too late to the party by the time it actually is ready to release, and having too many yes people along the way. Too many people just saying yes to things that realistically it's like, come on. You just admit that that's not very good and you can do better, or just admit that it's not going to have the widest, it's not going to have the type of appeal that you think it is. But I question Sony more than anything. I will always question Sony the most. And listen, I'm not here to go on a Concord rant. I'm not. But I do just want to say this. It is staggering Straight up staggering to see how all in Sony is with Concord, dude. I say that with no hate. I say that not even criticizing the game. I say that purely from the perspective of why. Like, why would you take that? Like, why would you go all in on this studio that's unproven, on this development team that's unproven, on this IP that you have no idea if it's going to land or not? Why do you go all in? I saw that show, the Amazon show, Secret Level. They're going to have a whole... That entire show, by the way, is supposed to be like a love letter to the history of games. And Concord is in there. There's going to be a whole episode dedicated to PlayStation, and Concord's going to be in there alongside Kratos, alongside who knows what else. And my question is, Sony, why? And you know what I think? You want to talk about Sony being a little bit arrogant or complacent, or I don't know, just having the wrong attitude. You're saying to promote it. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Maybe that's the most likely reason, but I almost start to wonder that if Sony took this approach where they just were like, we will make this big. Oh yeah, no, we will turn Concord into one of the biggest IPs in the world. It almost feels like they took that approach. You know, like they had that type of, kind of like that air of arrogance of like, yes, we can take anything and turn it into something big. And that I really like, the more that they market it and the way in which they're marketing it really starts to kind of make me feel that way. And it's painful to watch because it's like, man, you couldn't have been more wrong. No, see, Dan and Rudy, relax, guys, relax. I'm not here to hate on Concord. I've already said my piece, and I'm looking ahead to games that, other games that are coming out. I'm just wondering. See, it does make sense that Sony maybe has to fulfill their marketing. Whoa, hold on, Antonio. You're saying MBG, there is a dedicated Concord episode in Secret Level. The PlayStation episode is another one. How? What? That's crazy. I can't believe that. Antonio, are you sure, man? I'm like trying to process this in my brain right now, and I'm like, that can't be true. Can it? I mean, I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Maybe that is what they decided to do. I'm shook, bro. Oh my God. But the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, maybe they did do that. The description of the show put Concord separate from Sony PlayStation games. That's frustrating, man. Gavin says, "What Secret Level?" Look up the trailer. It's a trailer that just came out at Gamescom. Actually, you're saying on a side note, Crimson Desert looks amazing. Another win for Korean developers. They're saving the industry right now, in my opinion. Yeah, Crimson Desert does look really, really good. Yeah, a lot of different Asian development teams coming out and just killing it. Secret Level. The reason why I told you to look up the trailer is because it's hard to describe. If you watch the trailer, I think you'll know exactly like what it's trying to do. It's just basically an anthology series of different like games, essentially. Like it's supposed to be like a love letter to the gaming industry. And that's frustrating. I'll be honest, man. Like again, I'm not trying to hate on Concord. I want that to be known, but that's frustrating to me. Like, if we're talking about a dedicated anthology series that's supposed to celebrate the history of gaming, what has Concord done to earn its place? That's what bothers me. What has Concord done? I'm sure there are literally hundreds of other games that would deserve to take Concord's place in a show like that that's supposed to be a love letter to the gaming industry. That tells me that Sony paid a lot of money to make sure Concord has its own dedicated episode that nobody asked for. I don't know, man. And that's what I mean. That's why I kind of feel like it has a bit of, you know, like, yeah, we're going to pay to make this big. Saying more like thousands of other games. Yeah, probably. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm definitely interested in watching some of it. I don't know. I might check that Concord one out. I do have Amazon Prime Video. Maybe I'll see it just to see what they're doing. But the idea that they're going to have one dedicated to PlayStation IP is pretty cool. You're saying I get that, MBG, but Sony made that decision. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. My opinion of Concord doesn't really matter. And I would say our collective opinion here right now of Concord doesn't matter. It's going to come down to the market itself as a whole. We're just a very small, tiny portion of it, us just talking here right now. And I'll be very curious to see like what... Wait, hold on. You're saying it'll be out on the 24th. This anthology series is releasing in 2 days? Or you're saying 24 hours? Oh, wait. Is it? If that's true, then that makes more sense why Concord is there. Okay. You guys are saying no, it's coming out in December. That's what, yeah, I could have swore I saw that. See, that's another thing that is strange to me. If it was coming out like this month, I would understand it more, where it's like, okay, Sony clearly is trying to like insert the marketing at around the time the game's launching, but it's coming out in December and Concord's coming out tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't know. Strange times, man. I forgot what I was saying before that. But we have the Gaming Nating member for 12 months saying it's mind-blowing how Twisted Metal got canceled, but Concord was allowed to continue development. There's no competition in the car combat genre. Yeah, it's like non-existent at this point, dude. It is very sad that a game like Destruction All-Stars seemingly got more of a chance than Twisted Metal ever will. See, this is what worries me about modern day PlayStation, man. This was what worries me about Herman Hulst. I'm not trying to tread the same ground. And I don't want them to shit out a crappy Twisted Metal game. I don't want that either. But I just don't understand why Herman Hulst is like, we definitely should release Destruction All-Stars. We should. It shouldn't get canceled. That game needs to come out. We need to give it a chance. But a game like Twisted Metal gets canceled. Yeah, so read 'em and weep. That's true. You're saying Twisted Metal was never in development, so it wasn't canceled. Apparently, the way it was kind of discussed by Jason Schreier is it was not even like officially greenlit. It seemed like they were in like the conceptualizing phase, super, super, super early. Like just it's a thought and we're just thinking about how it could work. And then they were just like, yeah, no, scratch that. So I from that perspective, it makes sense where it's like, okay, if Destruction All Stars was like ready to release, maybe there is no reason necessarily to cancel it. To whereas if Twisted Metal, if it's just in the conceptual stage and they can't even figure out like how to make it work, yes, probably should cancel it. Maybe return to it at another time with another studio. Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, it sounds more like it was a pitch and a pitch that got rejected. That would maybe be the most accurate. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to make it sound like I could do Herman Hulst's job better than him. Certainly not. There's so much context we don't have, right? Like Herman's not a stupid guy. You know, he's a game dev. He comes from game dev. He worked on the Killzone franchise. He worked on Horizon Zero Dawn. He directed that game. You know, he knows the ropes. So I do trust him from that sense. I have to see more from PlayStation. Truthfully, like that, like I not even more. I need to see what Herman Hulst's PlayStation looks like now that he is an official CEO of PlayStation. That's what I want to see. I want to see Herman. I know what Jim Ryan's PlayStation Studios looks like because he was the CEO of PlayStation and he had complete control at the end of the day over everything. But now Herman has the CEO position and he has complete, total, full control of the creative side of PlayStation. And I want to see like what does that look like now? How much changes? How much doesn't change? Actually says, what's to figure out? Make a dark car combat game with a good single player campaign and killer PvP. Dude, I know it's funny because you're right. Like that doesn't sound bad to me. That sounds pretty like the template is already there. You know? The template's there. Maybe the team, maybe it was like the team wanted to like take it in a completely different direction. And who knows, maybe Herman saved us. Maybe the team was like, we're going to make Twisted Metal like much more colorful and much more appealing to a modern audience. And maybe Herman was like, you know what? We tried that with Destruction All Stars and that didn't work. We definitely don't want to do that for one of our classic IPs. It's possible. That could have been the situation. Looking at it from the other side. This is what I'm saying. We don't have the context, you know? Maybe I'm giving Sony too much credit there, but we will see, man. We will see. Alex Mercer, the prototype, with a super chat saying, if they do an episode for Infamous prototype, Wolfenstein, Doom, or The Evil Within, Dead Space, oh man, I'd be so freaking down for it. Imagine. Yeah, there were a lot of different IPs shown in that trailer, and people were trying to figure out like what they made. I missed a bunch of stuff. There's like legitimately a blink and you'll miss it type of thing. So I have a feeling there's probably some games in there that maybe didn't feature in the trailer or nobody caught yet. I don't know if they're going to have dedicated episodes though, but a lot of great games you just listed there. Alex Mercer. We also have Chris Brown saying, we have to assume Sony/Xbox cancels games based off of data. They pay millions for this info. They determined it wouldn't work and would fail. Yeah, I think you're completely right, Chris. This is definitely something that companies like Sony and Microsoft pay millions of dollars to try to like figure out like where do we invest our time, money, and resource. But you do have to question where that data is coming from. My worry, you know, did you guys see that The Acolyte got canceled? Star Wars The Acolyte. I haven't been paying too much attention to this. I've been like basically following it from the outside looking in. And the reason why I bring this up is because it's another signal. It's another signal that the change is real and the change is happening. It's another signal that these companies and these executives are beginning to wake up. Took longer than it should have, but they're beginning to wake up and realize that people have had enough of the nonsense, and it's time to get back to the basics. It's time to get back to the fans. And my whole worry with gaming, with PlayStation specifically, is how many projects were greenlit back in 2020, 2021, 2022, during the peak, if you will, of this nonsense. Look at Concord. It's a great example. Concord is a great example of a game that was greenlit during a time when this was like the thing to do. And it's releasing at a time when it's turning over. People are now over it. People are now walking away from it. People are tired of it. The pendulum's swinging once again, my friends. I just wonder how many other projects are in a similar vein that by the time they release, it's very clear, like, oh, you greenlit this in 2020, didn't you? Or in 2021 or 22. Yeah, no, this isn't the thing anymore, guys. Sorry. What nonsense exactly? Well, I don't want to go into politics. I don't, and I'm not going to, but I guess I'll just say we are beginning to see a very clear divide, at least happen with movie and TVs now, where we see a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine come out, and it becomes the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Makes over $1 billion. Colossal success. Marvel's back, baby. Right? That's happening at the exact same time you're seeing shows like Star Wars The Acolyte get canceled, but then you see a celebration campaign that show was canceled. There's an actual celebration occurring. I'm not here to go into the weeds and tell you why so many people were upset with The Acolyte, or why so many people were upset with previous Marvel stuff, or why so many people are upset with certain games. I've done that already. There's plenty of other channels that are dedicated to diving into every detail as to why. But there is a change that's occurring, and we're seeing the pendulum. It's in the process of swinging to the other side again. I personally don't want to see it swing to the other side. I want to see it stay right in the middle, but it won't, because that's not how it works. But yeah, man, it's just, I do wonder what else may be lying in wait. Wait, hold on. Actually says Deadpool is absolutely not the highest grossing R-rated movie. Adjusted for inflation, The Exorcist has made nearly $3 billion. Wow. I never thought of that. I guess that's technically true, yeah. Well, not adjusted for inflation. But thank you, actually, for making me aware of that. Dan's like, adjusted for inflation. Get the hell out of here with that. What are your all-time favorite movie and video game themes? Survival is one of my favorite themes in like all of media. Mainly post-apocalyptic survival, apparently. But survival nonetheless. I've always found that interesting. The human spirit, Obviously, the traditional, very classic, good versus evil, light versus dark. Very basic, very simplistic, but timeless. I also love thrillers. I love anything that's like mysterious, shadow figures, stuff like that. I've not played Conan, no. Saying you must be a Fallout fan then. Actually, believe it or not, Fallout's one of those series that I've never got into. Never got into it. I like espionage, yeah, for sure. Michael Jackson's Thriller? Have I played the Dying Light games? I have, yeah. Didn't like Dying Light 2 as much, though. I like the first one more. The second one, I don't know. I had a harder time getting into it. I saw that they just revealed that game, The Beast, Dying Light The Beast, and there's a lot of hype for that. I didn't watch that yet, Irfan. I saw it was uploaded to PlayStation's YouTube. I didn't watch it yet, though. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button. I think I only asked one other time during the stream. We're at 214 likes. We have I almost said 600. It'd be great if we had 600 people. We have 360 people here. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can bump it up to 250. It helps the streams. You know what movie I watched the other night that I haven't seen in... Gosh, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. No Country for Old Men. I was scrolling through Prime Video and I saw it on there and I was like, you know what? I don't think I've seen this movie since I was like 11 years old or something. What a movie. I know it's based off the book. It's based off a Cormac McCarthy book. I never read the book. I did read The Road, though, which is also Cormac McCarthy. Incredible book. Incredible movie. Viggo Mortensen. But yeah, man, No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men is one of those movies. It's just one of those stories that it really sits with you and you ponder it and you think about like every scene in that movie. It's just, it's meant to be analyzed. It's saying something more. And I love that type of stuff. And what was really interesting in watching it again was because I was so young when I saw it the first time, I understood most, or at least a lot. I don't want to say most. I understood a lot of what that movie was trying to say. But as a grown adult now, as a grown man, watching it again, a lot of stuff I didn't understand. People still question the end. So what I had heard somebody say, I think I read a comment that somebody had left on like a video analysis, and I think this person's comment was correct about the end when, well, I guess it depends on what you're talking, like, if you're talking about the final scene of the movie when the sheriff is talking about the dream he had of his father. Yeah, I will say when I first watched No Country for Old Men and that was the final scene of the movie, I was very much like, huh. But I think what it means is, or what it's like supposed to kind of symbolize is the sheriff, the sheriff's father at the beginning of the movie, he talks about how much he like admired his father and his grandfather. And he comes from like a lineage of, law enforcers of the old time, and in this dream, he describes his father. He sees his father passing by. It's cold, it's dark, but his father has the lamp and the light. And I think it basically is just symbolizing that to the sheriff, his father represented the light, the warmth, the something familiar and comfortable, something comforting. And when his father passed and now it's his time and he feels like he's struggling to keep up with the times. He yearns for the old days, you know? I think it basically represents, I don't know if I want to say nostalgia, but I think it's just supposed to be representative of the changing of times and how, I guess maybe when we look back, right? We look back at the way things used to be, the way our family members were, you know, before they pass on, and how different our lives were. We look at it as that was more of a light time, you know? And as you get older, things get harder, things get more challenging. You still don't know exactly what the film means, MBG, but in 20 years, it will become even more powerful for you. It's a complex film that has so many layers. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what makes it. See, that's what I mean. Like these timeless stories. That's what I mean about good storytelling. That's what I mean about good storytelling, dude. Cormac McCarthy writes this novel, incredible storytelling. You get amazing directors who translate it into a motion picture, and it's a motion picture that can be watched forever, you know, and you will always be able to go back to it and take something from it and learn something new. It's incredible. Novids are getting triggered because I still haven't seen Enemy. Pushing Polygons. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. You're saying, MBG, I know you said in the past that you like physical games. Any chance you do content talking about your library and what drew you to certain games? Yeah, I do like physical games. You know what's weird, though, and what I'm realizing about me and physical games is that I've always liked physical games. Like, I don't have a big collection, dude. Like, I had this realization the other day, and it was kind of like mind-blowing, where I was like, I don't have any old games. I don't have any PS1, 2, 3. I think I have a couple PS4 games left. I don't have any of them. I don't have any Xbox 360 games. I don't have any Nintendo 64 games. I don't have any of these classic games. And I thought about that. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Why is that? And it made me realize that I'm not a collector. It's not even necessarily like I'm not a game collector. I don't really collect anything. Or anything that I have collected in the past, eventually I've just moved on from it to a point where I remember I had stacks of PS2 games and they meant a lot to me, but eventually they meant nothing to me. And I got rid of them, whether that was through trading them in or giving them to friends or whatever. And that I was like pondering that the other day. I'm like, I think that says something about me as a person, where it's like, I'm not like that with everything. But when it comes to most things, when it comes to things that I guess we could call material things, I am like that. I care about material things, and there are material things that have meaning to me, but eventually they lose their meaning. Or if they don't lose their meaning, I don't feel any certain way letting them go. And that goes for almost everything, man. Anything physical, really. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is when it comes to talking about physical games in 2024, I mean, yeah, maybe one day I could show off what games I have, or just pull some out that, you know, I'm the target audience for a subservice. I guess in a way, yeah, I would be if you think about it, but I'm not saying I'll never get to that point, but I'm not there now. Like, I still do care about feeling like I own something. Again, these things matter to me, but how long they matter, I have a difficult time determining that. Like, for example, a physical PS5 game I have, I'll just throw Helldivers 2 out there. I got that game physically. Does it mean something to me now? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Will that physical copy of Helldivers mean something to me 10 years from now? If my history and the way I've gone about things up till this point is anything to go by, the answer is no. However, maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe 10 years from now, I will still have that game in my collection and it will mean something to me. Maybe by that time, PlayStation won't be really making many physical games anymore. So that is what will add more value to it to me. But I can say that eventually it will not mean anything to me. Or I'll pass it on to somebody. You know what I mean? And it can mean something to them. I got an online only physical game. Such a wise choice. Yes. See, that's not why I chose that game, but that adds an interesting layer to it, right? Doesn't it? What will that physical copy of Helldivers 2 mean to you 25 years from now when the servers are offline? At that point, it's a collector's item, right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a different kind of mood today, I guess. So, pushing polygons. Maybe one day I could do a dedicated stream or video going over the games that I have, because I went through that phase it was very short-lived. I went through that phase where I started buying a couple of games that I actually wasn't really interested in playing, but I was like, I'll add this to my collection, just to realize like that I'm not doing that. Like I'm not going to buy games that I'm not going to play. Like that just, and that's what makes me realize like, man, I guess I'm not a collector at all. It's not that I'm not a collector at all. It's just that like when I'm in the thick of it and when it means something to me, I really just want the stuff that feels, it's important to me. It feels important to me. It feels like I actually want to play it. I care about it. But if it's a game I'm not interested in, I'm not just, even if it's on sale for $2, like I don't just want to buy it just to have it. I just don't like doing that. Evolve on disc is useless. But yeah, we'll see pushing polygons, what I end up doing. I know that that's like kind of a somewhat popular thing to do on YouTube. I think I see like Mystic do that a lot, where he talks about his collections. Mystic has a huge collection. I could never have a collection like that. I don't know. It would drive me nuts. I'd be like, it's too much. But it's cool though. It's always cool to see people who have these really huge collections that they've been collecting for years and years and years. Overwatch on disc is useless. Digital Dude 25 coming in with he says Redfall PS5 Pro enhanced version. We did it. We did it. This is what we've been waiting for. The superior version. The superior console version of Redfall. Dude, it would be so funny if Redfall came to PlayStation. It would be so funny because it would be like such a troll. I would think I would have to buy it though. How could I pass up on that? How could I pass up on a PS5 Pro enhanced version of Redfall? See, I like that Digital Dude is like, I'm still going to be a bit chaotic here, but it's going to be appropriate levels of chaos. Relevant chaos. We are port begging. I am port begging for Redfall on PlayStation 5, please. Digital Dude, you're saying, did I see the super chat before this one? The last one I have from you, it says turn them into red mist. Oh wait, no. Hold on. That's not the last one. Hold on. I got a lot of super chats from you. Oh. Damn it. I did miss it. I definitely missed it. Not purposely, but now I don't know. Now I'm wishing you never told me. Digital Dude 25 says Michael Jackson came to my house one time to use the bathroom. I'm not going to lie right now, Digital Dude. This is like teetering on. It almost sounds true. But there's likely some kind of major undertone here that I'm missing, where it's obviously not true and you're actually trying to say something else. Boss, I am sorry, bro. I just scared the living shit out of Boss. I am sorry, bro. It's a line from the movie The Goonies. Okay. I've seen The Goonies, but I don't recall that line. All right. I knew there was something there. I'm like, surely that's not legitimate. The Goonies. Wow. Yeah, that's the only line I remember. That and booby traps, right? That's about it. They were talking about Chunk and how he tells all these tall stories. When did The Goonies come out, by the way? That's it. I know that's like an old movie. But thank you, Digital Dude. I almost missed a super chat of yours. And I would have never known. 1985. Oh wow, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely before my time, but I've seen it on TV quite a few times growing up. Then watched. I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing from start to finish. Truthfully. Actually, you're saying you saw it in theaters. Wow. It was great. Ghetto God, you're saying I was born in 1987. I should have seen it, just never have. It also had a video game. Oh, wow. You were only 8 years old, actually. You were just a wee lad. Boss is walking around here. He's like, so about those treats. Boss, I gotta say, I'm impressed with you. Boss has been so well behaved these days. I'm impressed. And Digital Dude 25 with another super chat. For a moment, it looked like it was going to be a normal super chat, but it's not. You're saying if you could have dinner with anyone from history, who would it be and why is it Ted Bundy? I can assure you Ted Bundy is the last person I would want to have dinner with. Anybody in history. That's a tough one, man. I have to Digital Dude, I have to think about this for a moment. Chris Brown says, random MBG, everyone is so political for no reason. I had a customer tell me EVs don't sell well because of Trump and his supporters. Like, what the F does that even mean? Needs to turn off his TV off. Yeah, there's a lot of brain rot going on out there right now, man. A lot of brain rot. You know who I would want to have dinner with? Jesus. I want to have dinner with Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. You got to admit, that's guaranteed to be interesting, right? Oh my God, boss. Boss farted. Gavin says hippie. You know who else? All right, maybe a less intense. I feel like that was an intense answer. Okay. Whoa. Hey, boss. Let go. Easy now. Holy shit. You already broke it. Do you need to do it, guys? All right. I spoke too soon. Not a supper. No. I spoke too soon. Boss is acting. He's engaged chaos mode. We're sitting at 10 members, guys. We need 15 more members. Who's going to make it happen? I need to feed this beast. He farted and it smells. Your boss is annoying me on many levels right now. He just farted and then he just jumped up here and he starts biting my mic and it's like he's just been saving it up. He's like, all right, I've waited long enough. Chaos mode activate. Boss rampage mode. Actually says he would like to have dinner with Hannibal Lecter. You know who I'd like to have dinner with? It'd be really cool. Bruce Lee. I think Bruce Lee is just such an awesome figure, and he's kind of like a legend at this point, you know? And I grew up watching Bruce Lee. My father was a huge Bruce Lee fan. He introduced me to all his movies. That'd be a pretty cool conversation. I'd like it to be Bruce Lee and his son Brandon Lee. That'd be cool. And Exley comes in. Exley gets some Trismegistus, answers the call. He says we need to get to 25. We need to feed the beast.
Get some! Get some!
Exley, God damn it! Stop it! Actually, thank you so much, man. That's another 5 members gifted, bringing us up to 15, guys. We are just... Actually set it up, man. He set up a 10 bomb. Who's going to drop the 10 bomb? If not the 10 bomb, 2 5s? 10 individuals. Yo, can we get 10 single... Let's get 10 singles. Can we do that? That would be a first. Like in a row. But just a reminder to the 5 of you who just got gifted a membership from Exley, you now have access to the Dual Sensibility podcast. New episode going out Saturday. And Steven Leon comes in. He says, no singles. We're doing it all once with the 10 bomb. Boss, rejoice, my friend. Steven and Paul as well. Paul Ganell comes in with the single. Paul was like, yo, I could do a single. Let's do it. Let's do 10 singles. Thank you, Paul. Steven, thank you for the 10 bomb. And Hellbound 1981. Keeping it going. You guys are just got a full-blown member train going, full speed ahead. 5 more memberships gifted.
Holy shit.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Hold on, let me see if I can get this one up there, too. Yeah, that's you. That's you, bro. Good shit, though, guys. Amazing support. We're now at 31 members. You guys crushed it. I asked us to get to 25. Instead, you're like, nope, we're going to 31. So let me update this. You guys can see where we are now. And then we'll feed the beast. He's been waiting patiently. Where are we at? 31. So, amazing community we have here. Appreciate the generosity, guys, with the membership gifts. I see a lot of people in the chat thanking you guys as well. Those who just received membership gifts. Here we go, bro. You ready? You hype? Get hype. Get hype, boss. Oh, Luna's here, too. No, boss, you stay up there. Well, all right. We'll have to do it the way we did it yesterday. Here we go, bro. Luna, you want some? Dude, Luna's literally under the desk, just like, she's ready. She's like licking her chops. Come on, up here. Well, first, Luna, I feel like you haven't been here as much. Why don't you say hi? Look at how long her limbs are, man. Look at that. Look at how long her limbs are. She's going to be a monster. I can't wait till she gets older, fully grown. She's going to be huge. She's going to like, I feel like she's going to be like significantly bigger than Boss. Oh, you ready? All right, here you go. Boss, you don't have to leave, dude. See what I mean? Boss is like, yep, I'm out. Come here. Come finish your snacks. It's the least you could do. Everybody just gifted memberships for this. Okay. He's like hissing at me like, nah, bro, you ruined it. All right, fine, boss. Here. Actually, you're saying I love black cats. Rip to my beautiful Panthro. Rip. Yeah, the only one missing right now is Leia. She's the only one missing. But good stuff, guys. I'm happy to see we hit the goal today. Very much appreciate it. Digital Dude 25. I also almost didn't read this. It would have been okay if I didn't, though, but you did pay $2 to have me read this. I would have dinner with Alexis, Texas. Okay. Digital Dude, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Saying black cats still get hate in the UK. Like it's $14.98 or something. Yeah, that's so weird. That's such a strange thing. Humans are weird, man. Whoa. My son's out there screaming over something. Your cat is part Maine Coon. He's massive. All right. Tidy says we're definitely weird in this country. Chris says the UK has more to worry about than black cats. Yeah, dude, I've been trying to not focus too much on worldly events these days. Just being honest. Like, I'm not purposely trying to be completely ignorant, but I just, you know, I just don't, I just try to remind myself, like, bro, you're just a random guy living on the East Coast of the US. You're just trying to talk about video games and live your life with your family and your cats. Trying to stay healthy. And I notice when I pay too much attention to worldly events, it starts to overwhelm me. And can't have the weight of the world on my shoulders. Nobody can. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that, yeah, there are bad things going on. Things that shouldn't happen. And we're left to wonder why they happen. But life is strange that way, man. Life is strange, for sure. Titus Crow with the super chat saying, and it's getting weirder. 2-tier. Those who know, know. Well, thank you, Titus. Well, this is another reason why there has to be a PlayStation showcase very soon, guys. Bringing it full circle. We need Sony to come out here and distract us from the insanity of the world and let us get lost in other worlds, you know, and immersed in hopefully some stories. This is why we need Sony to come out, man. Bring some joy into our lives. Bring some excitement. We need it. Titus, you're saying, actually, man, I miss the 80s more every year. You know what's really weird is talking about missing different time periods. I was born in 1993, and so I did grow up in the 90s, but I don't know. When I look back at stuff from the 90s, it feels like it's hard to explain. Like I was a kid in the 90s, but I look back on it with this weird feeling of like I was an adult I don't know if that makes sense. Like I was an adult in the 90s. Like, I don't know. I even discover bands now from the 90s that I like get really into, or just, you know, just discover stuff from the 90s. And it's like, man, why was this stuff so much better? And that's what you see. That's what I mean, where it's like, I wasn't an adult in the 90s. I was a kid in the 90s, but it's like, I look back on it now through the eyes of an adult and I'm like, yeah, this stuff was better. I don't know, maybe it is a mix of nostalgia, but also just genuinely some stuff was better. The 70s sucked. Interesting. The 70s was boring. It's so crazy to think about the 70s, man. Like that feels so impossible for me because my father was that was like his time. The 70s. My father was in the Alice Cooper. He was in the military. My father was in the Vietnam War, but he was towards the end of the Vietnam War from, I think, between 1970 and 1974, and I think he was an Army Ranger. Yeah, he was quite the badass. Rudy says, wow, some of you guys were alive in the 70s. Well, I wonder to myself if I make it to my 50s. Not saying you guys, well, I guess some of you would have to be in your 50s or maybe even a little bit older. Wait, hold on. I get, dude, sometimes I forget, like, dude, the 70s was not like 30 years ago or even 40 years ago. Oh, man. The 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, 2010s. Oh, my God. What's going on with time? Chris, you're saying my grandfather was a Purple Heart Vietnam vet, got ambushed in the jungle, woke up weeks later to find out his whole platoon died. Holy shit. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, my father had some stories that I like honestly genuinely question, like, is that true? Like, are you making this up? Or like, were you exaggerating this? Because that sounds fucking nuts. But I don't think he was no, like my father had severe like PTSD, and I got to see some of it, and that's what made me realize, oh no, there's no exaggeration there. That's the case with all fathers. Yeah, true. Time, here comes Wes coming in. Time is a human concept. Time doesn't exist. Deep thoughts with Mark Cerny. Your dad pushing polygons barely missed out on the Vietnam draft. The guy on the list before and after him got drafted. Dude, yeah, my father didn't get drafted, interestingly enough. He actually willingly enlisted. I think he was only like 17 at the time. He was real young. He enlisted. If I recall correctly, he had a bad home life and he wanted to get away from it. And I guess that was his way out. Actually says, time flies, gentlemen. Make sure you do what you need to do and let people know you love them. And don't waste it on a thankless shit job. Find something you're passionate about. Yeah, wise words for sure, actually. Definitely. I mean, I still feel like I have a certain amount of youth, you know, but now that I'm 30, I'm going to be 31 this September. We'll do like a birthday stream, I guess. I'm gonna be 31, and yeah, I can feel it. I can feel age creeping up on me a little bit. But then again, I always felt older than I actually am. MBG, I'm from West Asia. My father was in the Iran-Iraq War, 1980, 1988. So many stories, a lot of them sad. Yeah, dude. God. Not to go like deep here, but I don't know, man. I just wish human beings collectively, I know it's so cheesy, but it's like, I wish we could just stop with war and stop being animals towards one another. That's what's so weird. It's like, we're so advanced, right? We're so advanced. Like, we're not cavemen. We're not early humans. Like, we're so advanced. We have so much technology. You would think we'd have more wisdom. You would think we would have outgrown that shit. But I don't know, man. It seems, Ghetto God's basically like, y'all non-members basically getting a free members lounge now. This is what happens, dude. If I go long enough, yeah, I don't know. I got to be careful. That's supposed to be members only content, but that's okay. I don't think anybody minds. Jay Shako says I'd be lucky to make it to 50. Civilization is still a new thing in the scale of how long there's been life. Yeah, that's a good point. It is sad, though, you know? Like, it's sad to see. I don't know, man. That's one of the reasons why I stay off the internet, or I don't stay off the internet, but why I try to actively stay off of like places like Twitter and social media, because I feel like I'm exposed to so much stuff. And like, on one hand, I appreciate to an extent being exposed to it, because it's like, I got to see reality for what it is. You know, like, I don't want to turn away and live in a bubble and pretend that I don't see reality for what it is and what the real world can actually be like and what human beings are capable of. But it doesn't change the fact that it's highly disturbing. And I try to be a little bit easier on myself, where it's like, you know, I don't have to see I don't have to subject myself to that. And obviously, if something were to ever happen to me in my life, where, you know, I encounter some type of crazy situation, then I will have no choice but to deal with it then and there. There is no option to just turn away. So why purposely just stare right at it, you know, when it's nothing to do with me? And I think a lot of you guys understand where I'm coming from, where it's like, it's just kind of that there's a bit of like intrigue to it and fascination, like morbid curiosity. Okay, you're saying, hope you and the fam are having a swell day, enjoying the last bit of summer at the beach. Black Myth WuKong on PC for the win. There you go, man. Enjoying your last days of summer on the beach. I'm sorry if I'm bringing you down, okay? I'm like going down the rabbit hole. It's just a rabbit hole of contemplation, you know, contemplating thinking, wondering, always questioning. So few answers. Such is life. War has always been a part of the world's history. Yes, it has. But as a great man once said, it's better to burn out than fade away. Interesting. Yeah. Who does have the answers, though, you know? You guys been seeing all these different alien sightings recently? I know that this took a hard left turn right there, but I don't know. It's been kind of weird. There's been like, I don't know. What? I'm pretty good with movie quotes, but this one's eluding me, Titus. I'll be honest with you. I like Exley's energy. The good news is that death is nothing to fear, gents. We are infinite. Yeah, I subscribe to that notion. I subscribe to that belief. I'm not like a religious person. I do consider myself spiritual in the sense that, yeah, I do think that we have a spirit / soul, and it cannot be it is just it's something that we like probably can't even comprehend, but it definitely doesn't just die. And New Soul 9 with a super chat says, wait, MBG, September, what day? Mine is September 18th. Mine's September 30th. The very end of September. And my birthday, September 30th, 1993. Yep. That's when little baby MBG was born. Something on the quantum level. Yes. There we go, pushing polygons. Oh, it's from Highlander. Okay. Speaking of movie quotes, we talked about No Country for Old Men earlier. The one quote that is sticking with me a little bit is I don't know if I'm saying it word for word, but it was Anton, like the hitman. He said, if the rule you follow brought you to this, then of what use was the rule? And that was prior to him killing somebody, killing Woody Harrelson in the movie. But Dark Demon Media says his birthday, September 28th. Interesting. Would have been funny if there was somebody here whose birthday is also September 30th. Have I used iFunny before? It's a meme app. No, I don't think so. Should I be using it? Is there something appealing, specifically appealing to me? Would there be something appealing to me? Anton has no rules. That's the whole point. Just chaos. Yep. Yeah, Anton in that movie, I think, is basically supposed to be representative of the world itself. How there's no rhyme or reason. Things just happen by chance. And that's what makes it even more interesting, where at the end of the movie, he gets in that massive car crash. And I think, like, my takeaway from that was it just kind of goes to show that even he is, you know, he's kind of seen as this, like, incredible force in the movie, like this unstoppable force. And I think that was just kind of like, he didn't die, but it was like served as maybe the reminder that he is not excluded from that chance, from that chaos, that he too is just as, you know, vulnerable to it. Pragmatic Cat sends September 31st is his birthday. Wow. Wait. Bro, hold on. That would be October 1st. The 30th is the last day of September, bro. You might want to double check that, Pragmatic Cat. MBG, you need to watch The Leftovers. You won't regret it. I don't even want to say what it's about. I've never heard of this before. The Leftovers. Let me see. Oh, is it a TV series? It's got a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Huh. I'm reading this synopsis right now. Jeez. What is this like an HBO series? It sounds intense. Yeah. Maybe I'll look into it. I'll think about it. Seems heavy. I've been looking for... You know what movie I just watched last night? Because I've just been looking for random movies to watch. I saw the latest Evil Dead movie, Evil Dead Rise. Did anybody see that? That's what I watched last night with Mrs. MBG. What a whack movie, bro. That movie was whack. You haven't seen it yet, Titus? Is it bad? I didn't think it was bad, no. When I say it was whack, I mean it was like literally insane. That's what I mean. It wasn't bad. But yeah, it definitely took like a turn that I wasn't fully expecting in terms of like, oh, okay. Evil Dead Rise sucked. I mean, it was decent. It was okay. I didn't think it was particularly good, but I didn't think it was particularly bad. I saw Long Legs. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Long Legs. I'll be honest with you, man. I feel like Long Legs may have been slightly overhyped. Well, I don't know. I'd maybe have to watch it again. Long Legs it's a very slow film. It's a slow film. It's a slow burn. I could not get over the fact, truthfully, that the main protagonist, the woman in the movie, sounds identical to Ashley Johnson playing Ellie. I could not get over that. Anybody who saw Long Legs, can you validate me here? The main actress, I don't know her name, but she sounded identical to Ashley Johnson as Ellie. The voice was exactly the same. And it just like, it was throwing me off the whole movie. You watched Trap? It's a funny thriller about a sociopath. Yeah, I saw that one advertised recently. That's with Josh Hartnett, right? I feel like I haven't seen him in a long time. Actually, you're saying I don't mind slow films. I love the movie Black Coat's Daughter. Very dark, but good. I never heard of that one either. Saying there's this girl I follow on Instagram who looks literally exactly like Ellie in real life. Titus, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying there are so many actresses they could have picked to do Ellie in the series. Why? Just why? I will say, to Bella Ramsey's credit, she nails Ellie in terms of like the spirit of the character, the essence of the character, the portraying of the character. I will say Bella Ramsey does not look like Ellie, and that no matter what, like I notice anytime I see still screenshots, anytime I see screenshots of Bella Ramsey as Ellie, I'm like, that's not Ellie. And then when I watch the show, I'm like, okay, that feels like that's Ellie. She's doing a pretty good job. She's actually doing a really good job. And I'm really curious. I mean, look, I'm not super thrilled about The Last of Us HBO season 2. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not that thrilled about it, but I'm probably going to watch it. I'm curious to see how she does there because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like her performance is going to have to be kind of next level in this case. See if she, because Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2 looks a lot older. She looks much more mature. She looks like an adult, you know, a young woman. Bella Ramsey, from what I've seen in the trailer, like, I think she'll nail the acting, which is the most important part, but she does not even remotely resemble The Last of Us Part 2 Ellie. It's almost egregious. Like, Titus, I agree with you on this. Like, for Part 2, it's almost egregious looking, where it's like, you don't, like, that's, I don't even know. But if she can act it, that's the most, like, I'd much rather have somebody who can act the part and feel like Ellie and maybe not look like Ellie. That's why, like, I liked Pedro Pascal as Joel. I think he did a great job as Joel. Are there other actors who probably could have done a great job too? Yeah, but I think he nailed it, you know? She looks like Ellie from another timeline. Yeah, maybe. But oh wow, Gavin. Bro, that's brutal. That is brutal. Saying exactly, MBG. It makes me feel a little shallow, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody should feel as long as you're not, you know, being mean about it. Gavin, looking at you. I just think it's like, you know, it's just one of these things where it's like, it is what it is. It literally is what it is. Like, this is what Ellie looks like in the video game. This is what the actress portraying her in the series looks like. It's like, oh, that looks very different. You didn't like him as Joel? You didn't like Pedro Pascal as Joel? I liked him. I liked him as Joel. I thought he did a really good job. Yeah, we'll see how they handle The Last of Us Part 2. HBO. Pedro's very busy right now. Yeah, he, like, his career just took off, dude. Just, like, exploded in recent years. I'm curious to see how the Ghost of Tsushima movie turns out. One of the things that I'm really focused on with the Ghost of Tsushima movie is it's being made by the same director who made the John Wick movies. So I'm expecting some amazing action, to say the least, in the Ghost of Tsushima film. You fear that Hollywood will overuse him? Yeah. Well, actors who really rise to stardom very quickly and become, like, big, usually they have about a 10 to 12 year run, usually, give or take, where, like, it's like their peak, where they're just, like, everywhere doing everything, and then it kind of slows down after that. And then from that point forward, some actors and some careers seem to, you know, they seem to kind of, like, maintain a higher level, I guess, throughout the remainder of their career, while others start to just kind of really fall off. And then some people just disappear completely. But I guess that kind of goes with everything, you know? Yeah, Pedro definitely sold his soul to the devil with all the roles he's getting. That's one way of looking at it, yeah. Saying it's really impressive that Sucker Punch went from a game about a hipster with superpowers to an authentic samurai game. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. That is kind of crazy. That's a crazy transition. A very impressive one. No, MBG, that's not a joke. It's real. Wait, Shadowlink, what do you mean it's real? What do you mean it's real? I don't want to know. You laugh, but you have, but you're saying like what you actually have to do to make it, no joke. Yeah, I've thought about that too. And I feel that sometimes. Like, I see people who are like rich and famous, not just Hollywood actors and actresses, but internet celebrities, influencers and stuff. And yeah, man, it always, something about it always felt a little off to me. I mean, I do believe that there are truly authentic people who happen to, I don't know, man, like they just somehow inadvertently, like they're not trying to, but they manifest like wealth and fame and all that different stuff. But yeah, with the way the system is created and the way the system is set up, it does seem more like you gotta, I don't know, like if you're talking about really making it big, I've always been a believer there's a price for everything, man. There's a price for everything. You know, if you choose, maybe in a way I am a believer in karma. You know, like if you choose to do something wrong, something bad, something negative, you build up your negative karma. And whether it's in this life or the next, you relive it. Or you don't relive it, but you know, it comes back around. Astral realm karma? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if karma exists in the astral plane. I see where Gaming Survivor's trying to go right now. I'm going to visit the astral plane and see if there's a PlayStation showcase going on up there. I mean, fuck, man. If we can't get one down here, can there be one up there? Doesn't have to be real. It can be real there. You reap what you sow. It's that time, MBG, the Astral Realm segment. Joshua, I have seen Long Legs. Yeah, I saw it in the theater. Karma is supposed to happen faster in the Astral Realm. I can't. Is this true, Shadowlink? I feel like you're being serious. I can't tell. Like that might be a joke, but it also sounds believable. My mind palace. While you're there, check for the roadmap as well. Guys, a PlayStation showcase is almost certainly happening very soon. How do I know? My source. Who's my source, you ask? I met him in the astral plane. He claims to be Mark Cerny. And he revealed everything. I even know what the PlayStation 6 is going to be. I even know what it's going to look like. What did I think of Long Legs? Thoughts manifest instantly in the astral realm? Oh, damn. You bought a book about the astral, then I learned more about it and stay away. Interesting, Shadowlink. Fascinating. I'm sorry, Irfan, I can't help you. Joshua, I liked Long Legs. I didn't think it was amazing. I wasn't like thrilled about it when I was finished it. I was like, yeah, it was a slow burn. It was enjoyable. I think maybe the ending, like the ending was satisfactory in the sense that I knew exactly what happened and oh, okay, I understand now. But the official mark just came in and says, what in the blue bell is going on here? That's my favorite thing, dude. I love when people just join the stream and I'm like sitting here being like, yeah, I was talking to Mark Cerny in the astral realm and he revealed to me everything about the PlayStation showcase. And somebody's like, holy shit, what did I just click on? What did I just walk into? Have I seen The Barbarian? or have I seen Barbarian? I have not, actually. I've not seen that. Is it good? And New Soul 9 says, MBG, would you take the option to live forever? Well, I guess it depends on what form that comes in, right? Like, if the option is you live forever in this physical form, I would have to ask a couple of questions. The first question would be, am I vulnerable to injury and or death, like accidental death, right? Like if I'm vulnerable to injury where it's like you can break your spine and basically be paralyzed and never die. So I don't know if you say like live forever in this physical existence where like you're immune to, it's like kind of like a Superman thing where it's like you're immune to injury and death completely. Hell no. It would also be a hell no if obviously I could get injured. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if you're talking about like living forever in this, in like a euphoric sense, like almost like a heavenly sense, like you're in a much better place. Nah, dude, I would not want to be. I would not want to basically be like a tree and just be around for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, just watching humanity. You know, I know maybe it's a little bit dark, but it's just the truth. Like I wouldn't want to be here forever, dude. Please no. That almost sounds like I don't say that sounds like hell, but I don't know, man. Given enough time, maybe that does sound like hell. Paul says, LMAO, I randomly fell asleep. What did I miss? Just, just deep thoughts. Just deep thoughts. Irfan says that is a nightmare. Yeah. New Soul 9 following up. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're saying live forever where you are super young and can heal like Wolverine. So I guess when you say young, you mean like in your prime. I mean, I don't know. Like, the idea of it is tantalizing, right? Because I guess most people, like, we don't want to die. So the idea of being able to, like, live forever in your prime with healing ability, assuming meaning, like, you can't die. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So the reason why I wouldn't want to do that is because you would never be able to get close to anybody. You know what I mean? If you think about it, you would never be able to get close to anybody because eventually they would pass away and you're just going to live. And every person that you ever get close to, it's just going to be see, that to me is the part that sounds like hell, where it's just a constant, like I mean, the lives we live now, we experience loss, but we experience loss knowing that, well, we're on the same path. You just got that, whoever you lost just got there quicker than you, but you'll get there too. It's super interesting to have that thought, but to also think I'll never leave this place. You see what I'm saying? See how I feel like it can be flipped on its head, where it's like, isn't that what you want? You would like to live forever in your prime, can never get injured, or if you do get injured, you just heal like instantaneously. Sounds cool at first until you realize, like, oof. Eventually, this place is just going to feel like a prison, and you're going to be begging, whether it takes 200 years, 500 years, thousands of years. Eventually, you're going to be begging, please free me. Imagine all the knowledge you could amass. You added contingencies to immortality. That's what heaven is meant to be. Sounds like a nightmare. No, see, I think the way people interpret what heaven is sounds a little bit, it is like incomprehensible, right? Because to me, heaven is a non-physical existence. Like, you're not bound by the laws of physics. The laws of physics don't apply. time doesn't exist. Now imagine Earth right now and every living thing on it. Remove the laws of physics. Well, all right, maybe you can't do that. If you remove the laws of physics, then the entire planet just collapses on itself. Just remove time. Just take time. Imagine if there was no time, as in you don't age. Like, you never have to look at a clock because it doesn't exist. You never have to ask how old you are, or ask somebody how old they are, or keep track of your age because it doesn't exist. If you remove time, I mean, everything starts to break down at that point, you know? You won't feel bad in heaven. Well, you know what's interesting? I've seen people reject the notion of heaven because they're like, well, how can you exist in a place for an infinite amount of time? For infinity? How can you exist in a place for infinity where you only feel good things? Wouldn't you get tired of feeling good things? How do you know what good things are? How do you know what a good feeling is if you don't know what a bad feeling is? That's why I think the notion of reincarnation is fascinating, because you get reincarnated, you're sent to a different realm. You're sent to the Earth realm. It's Mortal Kombat up in this bitch. You're sent here, and you get to experience just, oh, you want to know what pain is like? You want to know what it's like to be able to feel the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and everything in between? Well, guess what? We got a place where you can experience that. It's called Earth. So imagine if the soul leaves Earth. Just full-blown members lounge at this point, but the soul leaves Earth. You go to, I don't know, call it heaven, the afterlife, whatever. I don't know. You just go to the higher place, right? The different place. And you take that you take that experience with you. So wherever you exist next, you do have the experience of I do know what pain is. I do know what living a physical life is. I do know what having a physical shell. I know what it's like. Now imagine if you live multiple lifetimes. Imagine if you do get reincarnated multiple times. Imagine all the experience you're accruing, all the different lives you've lived. Now, what would that add up to? I mean, I don't know, transcendence, I guess. It adds up to, I don't know. I always view it as kind of like, I view spirituality almost like a video game sometimes, as funny as it sounds, where it's like, you're just trying to level up, bro. You're just trying to level your soul up, you know, so you can get good. Get good at existing? I don't know. Just interesting to think about. MBG, I have a fantastic 20-minute video about future tech. I'll do a link for the next members lounge. All right. MBG, there is no time. The only time that exists is now. That's the only time the universe knows. It was always now to the universe. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. There's only the present. But what about when I take a telescope and I look deep into space and I see a crazy explosion that occurred to a planet or a star, and that planet is 1 billion light years away, and the realization that the light that came from that source, from that planet / star exploding, and that star exploding, that light took 1 billion years to travel to my telescope and for my eye to see that. So what I'm looking at actually occurred 1 billion years ago. That's your now. See, that's where the brain breaks, right? That's your mind interpreting it that way. That's our conception for the universe. It's just a bunch of particles and chaos messing around. Yeah, it's really, really interesting stuff, man. CeeLo says, that's deep, man. Yeah, space in the universe has always deeply fascinated me. Deeply so. Also disturbs me a little bit, though. Nothing makes me feel a greater sense of existentialism than when I think about deep space and the universe itself. But I am a firm believer that, you know, some of the smartest, most intelligent astrophysicists, scientists in the world, you know, they have a very well-rounded understanding, certainly a greater understanding of the universe than I ever will. But if there's one thing that I feel confident in is that no matter how much more they may know about the way the universe works, the mathematics behind it, the universal language that is math, unfortunately for me, and numbers and equation, I do know that they too are a human being, and inherently your knowledge is essentially just as limited as mine. In that whatever we see, we will always have this insane limitation where it's like, oh, we can see the universe. Yeah. Oh my God, it's incomprehensibly huge. We can't even fathom how large the universe is. Yeah. You think you're going to understand that? You think you're going to figure that out? No. I mean, we will sit here and we will continue to chip away and try to learn what we can. But it's like, we'll never figure it out. Not here on Earth anyway. But it makes me feel extremely confident that, oh, there's some shit out there, dude. Yeah, for sure. Gods could be out there. That's where the gods could be. Novinzer, you're saying YouTube isn't letting you super chat? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, dude. You say it in the chat, I'll try to read it. I'm just saying, man, like, the universe, I think, is just a constant reminder of you can't know and you won't know. Sorry. New Soul 9. MBG, do you believe we should... Did you... You said Concord, but I think you meant to say conquer other planets for our species, or should we be satisfied with living on Earth as our home? I mean, that's a deep question. I say that's deep because, dude, if you what apparently we do understand about our own solar system and this is what we do know about the universe, is Earth will one day explode. Hate to break it to everybody. Sorry if I ruined your day. The good news is you'll be long gone, but, well, I mean, I guess that's good news, but I think it's like 4 billion years from now or something like that. It's like 4 billion years from now, the Earth is going to explode. It's going to, well, maybe that's a bit hyperbolic. The sun's going to envelop the Earth. And I just imagine that culminating in an explosion. Like, I don't know what else happens, you know? But yeah, the sun is eventually going to envelop the Earth. And so I guess I think the more appropriate question we have to ask ourselves, New Soul 9, is, do we really believe the human race as a species? Do we really believe that we will be here long enough to be able to even figure out how to conquer another planet? Or is it more likely we're just going to destroy ourselves? You know? Before that, the levels of oxygen for breathing on Earth it'll be like a desolate rock. I mean, yeah, well, we're talking about like billions of years from now. So it's, you know, we're currently trying to figure out how to stop ourselves from burning right now, which is insane to me. Like, you know, it's just, I don't know. The human race is too volatile, dude. I'll just be honest. Like I don't think we're gonna be out there conquering other planets. I don't think we're certainly not gonna conquer the solar system. We're not gonna conquer the Milky Way. We're not gonna do it. I don't mean to be such a doomer. I'm sorry. I think that there probably, well, I feel certain there are other life forms scattered all throughout the universe. I think it's comical. It's genuinely comical. I love people, and no offense if you're this person, no offense. Please don't take offense to it. But I do think it's comical that there are people who think like, oh yeah, no, there's no other life out there. It's just us. Like, okay. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I've seen some people with takes where they believe that like the universe is fine-tuned and it's basically a simulation. And this is where things get, it depends on your take on it, right? Like that take is actually a valid one where it's like, bro, all these things you're seeing out there, they're just being rendered in real time as your eye is seeing it. It's not real. It doesn't actually exist. And you can't prove it exists. It's like, well, why not? Because you can't. Go ahead. Go try to prove it exists. It's going to take a long time. But I don't know. Some people do believe that, I don't know. I guess it depends on if you believe in simulation theory. If you believe in simulation theory, then there's reason to believe that the universe that we see outside of like our planet and maybe our solar system is just not fucking real. Like, it's like, it may as well not be. And that's to me, that's the scariest thing about the universe is like, you look at the shit that's out there and you're just like, what the fuck? I don't even know what to make of this. It's like, dude, it may as well not even be real. You know, it's like, it may as well not even be real. So it depends on what you choose to believe in, but I don't know. Assuming the universe and what we see out there, assuming it is real, like, oh, I'm seeing a planet or a star that's like 20 billion light years away, and that's real. That's a real thing that exists for real. Like, oh, okay, assuming that is true, then I do think it's comical. You know, I think it's comical that some people, assuming the universe is as big as we believe it is, there's no way, there's zero chance there isn't life everywhere. Like, there's absolutely life everywhere, that for sure. It does. I mean, it could have destroyed itself, you know, but we're talking on a scale that essentially breaks, I don't want to say it breaks the laws of physics, but the upper limit is the speed of light. You know, like nothing can go faster than the speed of light. So we measure everything in the universe based, you know, that's what a light year is, how long it takes light to travel in a year. The human mind cannot comprehend how fast light travels. We think we can comprehend it. We cannot. We can break it down to a mathematical, you know, here are the numbers. Doesn't mean we actually comprehend what that is. We don't understand what the speed of light is. We can't understand it because we are bound to these laws of physics. I mean, fuck, man, if you die and become light, maybe then you'll get it. But I'm just saying, when we're talking about measuring shit through how long it takes light to travel in a fucking year, yes, at that point, time breaks down. This is why when some of you guys were saying, like, dude, time isn't real. It's like, it basically isn't. When you're talking about the speed of light, it's basically not real. If you move at if you could move at the speed of light, you could go back in time. But you can't move at the speed of light now, can you? MBG, that's conventional physics. In quantum physics, there's basically instant transmission. What is that? My God, dude. Anybody who clicks on the stream afterwards thinking, I can't wait to hear MBG talk about the PlayStation Showcase for 4 hours. Oh, he only talked about it for like an hour and a half. I appreciate you guys hanging in, though. Hanging in there. Sometimes this is just where my mind likes to go, you know? This is what we talk about as we wait for the PlayStation Showcase. Navins, you're saying, did you watch my video? It'll change your perception. Dude, I had it up the other day. Give me the name of it one more time, because I'm going to be looking for something to watch later. And give me the name one more time. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to even click on it so I can go back and check my watch history and watch it. If we travel to Earth's closest exoplanet, it's about 150 years one way. If we could even get there, we will need to do something better if we are to get there. It's, yeah, dude, isn't it kind of strange how it's like the way things are set up? It's like, you're not getting there. Better make it work here. You better make it work here. This is why I watch you talk about everything random. If you could travel at the speed of light, you could stop time, not go back in it. Are you sure? I could have swore I heard that if you could travel at the speed of light, you could go back in time. Or would you have to travel faster than the speed of light in order to do that? I think I got a direct donation from Moonshot. Moonshot bringing us back to the gaming world here. Although maybe applicable talking about VR. He says, damn, that Batman VR game stings me. It's not coming to PlayStation VR 2. But I'm happy to see what the gameplay looks like and what's possible. Pushing VR gameplay. Yeah, I will say, I was quite surprised when I was watching that at Gamescom. I was quite surprised to see how good that new Batman Arkham game for VR looks. Maybe one day it'll come to PSVR 2, but I did say when I was reacting to that live that is such a huge miss for Sony. Like, bro, Sony, how the hell are you going to miss out on a Batman Arkham game for VR? And Moonshot again with a direct donation here saying, still game sharing with my buddy, and he pre-ordered Astrobot. He noticed he had like $100 in PlayStation Star points and grabbed WuKong too. Let's fucking go. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I see. If there's anything that gets me to go digital, guys, it might be game sharing. Hate to say it, but if there's anything that gets me to go digital at some point, it might be that. This idea that you could basically split a game between you and a friend if you enter into an agreement, or maybe you buy one game, your friend buys the other, vice versa. I forget sometimes that's a thing. That's so funny to me. That's crazy, actually, that Sony and Microsoft still allow that to be a thing. Do you think they're ever going to close that up, by the way? Do you think they're ever going to not allow game sharing? I'm returning back to the chat. And they're how to shift parallel realities. All right, hold on. And it's by okay. I'm trying to read some of the comments here. I keep trying to tell people that this world is only what we think it is, but they just don't get it. They keep doing what their parents did and expect things to be better like that. Life is what you make it. I listened to this last year around summertime and my life changed drastically. I don't even recognize the old me. Stay true to your desired state of being. Yes, amen. Thanks. There's a point in the audio he says if you listen to this in 6 months, you won't recognize yourself, and I can vouch for that. I was a strict Christian, scared of new challenges at work, problems with my girlfriend, always wanting my parents and others' approval, fear of change. I had anger problems and I would go from job to job. Now I'm open-minded and opposite on those things that I listed. I think it was a joke when I randomly watched the first few minutes of this video a year and a half ago, though. Damn. All right, yeah, it seems pretty deep. My desired state of being. I'm watching the PlayStation showcase. My dreams are becoming a reality. Well, guys. Maybe this is a good place to Miguel, you're saying instant transmission. I took the term from a Goku power, but basically think of two particles that are quantum connected. If you change one of them, the other one changes too, regardless of distance. Whoa. That... I'm not... I don't know what that would mean. Like, what does that translate to, though, exactly? Is it like... Are you saying we're connected to something that, in terms of physical distance, is incomprehensible, but everything that is done here affects what is there because the particles are connected? Like, these particles are not... Like, the laws of physics do not apply to these particles, as in, like, time and space and shit. Now my brain's starting to break. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, meaning faster than light. Whoa. There's no way he called it that, bro. I gotta look this up now. Now I feel like you're fucking with me. MBG, that was the theory behind the communication system in Mass Effect, quantum entanglement. So that was all life, real time. Spooky action at a distance. Holy shit. Yeah, I might have to look into this. I like that term, though. That's quantum teleportation. So, like, it almost feels like... So, are you saying I'm just a fucking projection? This physical reality is just straight up a projection? Man, I don't know. I don't even know. I think we've taken it too far. Quantum entanglement makes it so that distance is irrelevant. Well, Shadowlink says, MBG, can I send you a few videos? Do you have an email or something? I'm sure everyone here has so many books and videos that we could send to keep your mind going. I mean, you can find my email. It's in the About section, I believe, of my channel. My only request is please nobody spam anything. If you spam, I'm just going to probably block you on Gmail. But I can't guarantee I'll watch it. I can't make any promises, but, you know, when we're in the members lounge or something, or if they're ever having a random second half of a stream that's like this, look up the Infinite Earth map if you want to have your mind blown. You know, sometimes I wonder, and this is going to be the last crazy thought I have before I end the stream, because I've definitely... I feel like I should, like, rename the stream a bit, but sometimes I wonder, like, what if there was an entity in the chat? One of these random names I'm seeing. It's not actually a person. It's not a real person existing on Earth. It's an entity. A different being, maybe. And they've just like straight up entered my chat and no one would ever know. And they're just like saying some shit. They're like revealing some deep secrets about the fucking universe. Like they're like practically trolling us. Like, we're just gonna drop some knowledge on this fool. And I read it out loud, and I'm like reading the answer to the universe, and I'm just like, maybe. God's in the chat. You've always assumed at least one person in the chat is AI. How would we even know? It's Digital Dude. It's Digital Dude and Rich Rod. We got you. I know it's you guys. They're the aliens. They are the aliens. They're not from this planet. Y'all gonna get haunted and shit. Last week, the whole AI community was convinced a girl was Chat GPT-5 preview from OpenAI. Not kidding. Well, nearly 4 hours in, guys. My brain is officially fried. Like, no joke. I came in talking about why a PlayStation showcase is almost certainly happening very soon. And I left questioning my very existence. So that's an MBG PlayStation stream for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I can't deal with that shit, dude. Planet Scorpion says look up creepy missing persons cases. I used to watch stuff like that, but man, it's just too, yeah, it racks my brain too much. Ow. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me here while I slowly but surely break my brain in half. Maybe into fourths, maybe even eighths at this point. I'm going to need to recover now. I'm going to have to record my podcast with the Dual Sensibility podcast with Brown Sugar going out Saturday. I'm about to start bringing up these topics. No, I can't do that. I don't know. I'd have to do a whole separate podcast. I can't tell people. It's bad enough I'm telling people, guys, tune into my PlayStation stream talking about a PlayStation showcase, and then like half of it's actually we're just going to talk about space and shit. All right. But I don't know. Grub tweet tomorrow with leaked rumor. We will see. What's up? The Astral Realm podcast. I mean, listen, I will say one more time, on the community tab, there is a Q&A, or a post, I should say, where you can ask a question. Or you can ask a question. If you guys have any questions pertaining to any of these topics that you would like both me and Brown Sugar to answer, feel free. I can't promise, I can't guarantee it'll get picked, but Devil Shooter says, one night I saw a line of dots with a faint outline of something. It just disappeared, no sound. That's freaky, Devil Shooter. That's some freaky shit right there. Well, I want to make sure to thank you guys so much. Not only do I want to thank you for hanging out with me during this, I mean, to my non-members, for anybody who's a non-member still here or listening later on and you're not a member, you basically just got a free members lounge. So if you like what you hear and you want more of it, please become a member. Go check out those members lounges because, God, we've had even crazier conversations than this. But before I go, I really do just want to thank everybody for your support. We hit 31 members. Thank you guys so much for that. A lot of super chats, a lot of, some direct donations as well. You guys make this possible. I see people saying they enjoyed these conversations in this topic or whatever this was. I don't even think it was a specific topic, but, just got to make it known that it's the people who are supporting and funding the channel directly that literally make it conversations like this possible and allow me to do this. So thank you so much. Means a lot. Couldn't do it without you guys. And I also want to make sure to shout out Devil Shooter. He does the timestamps. Devil Shooter, really appreciate what you do, man. Really appreciate how much you help out the community. I know a lot of people appreciate those timestamps. If you guys see them in the comments, you know the deal. Show them some love. And yeah, I'm gonna have to bring myself down a little bit. You know, I'm gonna have to lower the brain waves. I'm gonna have to just get primal mode. You know, eat some food, maybe work out. Game, go kill some shit as a monkey in my new game. I'm gonna go beat the shit out of some shit with a stick as a monkey, trying to achieve godhood or something. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know. You might want to be careful, Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter's gonna get abducted, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I'm just kidding. Don't stay up at night. Paul. Absolutely, Paul. I see you, man. Absolutely. All right, that does it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. The next stream, I just will say I'm not planning on streaming tomorrow. If something comes out, there might be like an emergency stream. Probably not, though. The next proper stream is probably going to be on Sunday. But again, if you're a channel member, look out for the Dual Sensibility Podcast. Episode 3 should be out sometime Saturday evening. Okay, so tune into that, and that does it. Hit the like button on your way out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So don't think too hard now. Don't think too hard.